All quiet here this morning as we get going on Fed Day, Wednesday, ahead of the FOMC decision coming up later this afternoon. We just got some housing data. Building permits for August coming through, 1.475 million. That was against 1.42 million expected there for the month-over-month preliminary number. Housing starts as well, 1.356 million versus 1.28 million. Otherwise, energy data to watch out for at 10:30 as per usual on a Wednesday. All the action, though, around 2 o'clock this afternoon, we'll get the decision from Fed Chair Powell. I was reading this morning, it was 4.5 years ago. 4.5 years ago was the last time they cut rates.
Wow.
March 2020 was the last time we got a rate cut.
And that was the emergency
from,
one.
the Fed, yeah. And that was going into, obviously, what happened through 2020, 2021. But it's been a long time, to say the least, since we got an actual rate cut from Fed Chair Powell. Will it be 25 basis points? Will it be 50 basis points? The Fed prediction tool suggesting that we're going to go bigger rather than smaller. As of yesterday, the effective Fed funds rate was 5.33%. So predictions right now heavily weighted towards a full 50 basis points. So how the market reacts will be the key here.
Yeah, I was talking to Sean before we got on camera, and the FOMC rate tool was predicting till yesterday anyway, 65% that we get 50 bips. This is obviously a less predictable cut or a less predictable meeting than usual. There seems to be disagreement amongst the FOMC members about how to go, the Hawks and the Doves here. Some of the Moody's analysts coming in and chiming in this morning. Mark Zandi believes a 50 basis point cut is necessary due to the higher rates. You mentioned the overnight rate for the Fed's fund rate there. So lots to talk about today. And I kind of like the uncertainty because we always seem to know it's coming.
Yeah, it's been a long time. I was trying to think this morning before we came on there, when was the last time we didn't see 98% or 99% in favor of one direction or another? I think the more important number, if this is the actual live prediction, if you go out to the end of the year, this is December. So the top of the bell curve around 4 still, so 4 to 4.25. Which would, from where we are today, still be that full 100 basis points coming off. But this is today, 65, as we were saying, 65-35 in favor of that full basis or 50 basis point cut coming today. We'll see what Fed Chair Powell comes through with. 2 p.m. we'll get this decision. 2:30 we'll hear from Powell. It's worth noting as well, first time that the 2 p.m. data might be a little more exciting than what he says at 2:30. You and I have talked about a lot the fact that some of this data in the past little while has shown the underlying economy in the U.S. not necessarily as strong as everyone was thinking.
Bang. I was just about to build on that, Brendo. The economic projections going forward are going to be really operative as well. We're also going to get a new dot plot this time around. So we're going to look at what the interest rates are or their projections for the interest rate going to the into the end of the year. So lots to talk about, not just the rate.
Yeah, no, good point. The last one 2 meetings ago, thrown out the window. We'll get all new predictions on the economic side, guys, from the Fed today as well.
Yeah, good morning, and you're right about that, Brennan. This is the first time we actually care about 2 p.m. and not just 2:30.
Yes,
it's the first time in a long time. I mean, it's been a very, very long time. I think you divvy up the day into 2 today. I don't know why that's such a big bang. It's not that big of a deal, but we divvy the day up into 2. We get our morning session.
Morning session.
I think obviously post-Fed, everything can change. It doesn't matter what the trend is going into 2 o'clock. It's going to mean nothing to me at 2. It's like what happens and how do we react. And you have to be able to react in the fly because we truly don't know what we're going to get. Market's pricing in 50 basis points. I actually kind of think it should be and can be and will be the 25 basis points. But it's interesting that so many stocks are just going to be trading flat right now. So you're going to be looking for things that are trading at key levels, especially in a morning like today where everyone's anticipating 2 o'clock. There's not going to be a lot that's going to be directly in play. I mean, Google has a bit of a news story, but when you're not moving around, you want to be extra patient. This is the kind of day where you want to find some patience, find a stock that, Google is an example. It's kind of trending to the upside. It's had multiple days in a row. It's got a decent EU story where they had a $1.7 billion US dollar fine annulled. And they look stronger relative to the market. I do like them. Continuation plays, think the big moves in Palantir and Intel, so likely that they're going to have some volatility in them. And some small caps might be good to play as well. especially given the fact that they might not follow the market as much. But I think you got a lot that we're looking forward to at 2 o'clock, but you don't want to get too far ahead of yourself. Focus on the now, focus on the moment. We got the morning to trade, then we can worry about 2 o'clock when the volatility hits.
Yeah, yesterday we had Brian Shannon on, and I asked him about, what would be a disaster spot for the NASDAQ, or if there's something that happens, where could we fall down to? I had plotted the anchor VWAP at the October lows there, and he agreed that that would be a decent spot to look. And that brings us to 430. So if you drop down here, 474, I'm just thinking if there's 65% chance of 50 points, there could be 0 rate cut. I don't think that's going to happen. And there could be 75 basis points. I don't think that's going to happen. But if either one of those happens, or the talk that Powell has at 230 is not as dovish as a lot of us hoped for, like continue rate cuts, things like that, we'll hear what he says. But this level, not today, but 430 would be an area there, which is 10% down. So you're going to knock off $40 off of the 475 that we're at right now. So that would be an area that we had discussed yesterday, if the market does drip in, right? I mean, it's not even like we were that far away from it. This is just a daily chart. So you're back to last week. We were down here at 450. So we're talking about a little lower than that into 430, where that anchored VWAP is. Because now you're above the 50 period, and the markets are pretty much at all-time highs. I mean, all the markets we're going to look at here, whether or not it's SPY. I mean, look at the spiders right here. That's all-time highs, right? This is what I'm seeing. So you're right there. The diamonds, same thing, right? The Dow is breaking out to all-time highs. Oh, you're not into stocks. It's all good. Hopefully you're into some gold right now. If your money's in the cash market, you're getting a good return right now as well. 4.5, 5. We talked about Moomoo giving you what? It's right on the screen right there, 8.1. So there's lots of opportunities to get long a lot of things. And then even, the crypto bulls have something to cheer about over the last couple of days as we're trying to get above 50. Yep. Wake it up. It's hitting the RSI there. It's like, come on, RSI, it's a little too low down there. But nice little move to the upside right now with crypto. So I don't know. Things seem to be moving. What about TLT? That's near, yep, exactly. Yep. So that's also near highs as we talk about rates. So, I mean, whatever. As long as you're not in, we'll talk about Intel, names like that, individual markets high, individual stocks, even NVIDIA, I was saying to Sharif, I thought this could lose today. Like this could lose this level. You're under the 50 period moving average, under 115. I think NVIDIA is a sneeze away from 100 again, which I think is a problem. I think this is actually more dangerous right now than Intel. Intel has a bottom, I think. NVIDIA,
for now it does. For
now it does, yeah. I mean, hopefully we don't lose all this market, but NVIDIA could make a move back down. I mean, even Apple, right? Apple, whoops, AAPL. Apple right here, do that little wake up for Apple maybe. Because what are these lines? I gotta get rid of these lines, I guess. But Apple right here is under the 50 period moving average, trying to get low. There it is. Okay, good. Now we can go long Apple. But you can see it's starting to go downside too. Like if you lose these levels and start to break back in, then where's the hold, right? So I just interesting times in the market right now ahead of another big earnings season. Really, I mean we're gonna get through this. The rate cut season is here. We already know that. I don't think it matters where he goes, 25 or 50. But at the end of the day, the stocks are telling us what's good. Look at the NASDAQ here, by the way. This is 1 minute.
Yeah, now we're bouncing.
Bouncing. This is 7, so 8:15. So the last 20 minutes. I mean, is that a red candle or just a hiccup? Right there, I was thinking about what to do. Last 20 minutes, you basically get like 1 or 2 red candles in there now. So right back up to highs. Oh man, must be good to be a bull these days, or is it a trap?
It's only a quarter point. It's only a quarter up. What's interesting? We've traveled this a few times in the morning session.
That is
so
at
far.
highs. A lot of these names are at highs. I checked the account. The account's at highs.
Yeah. NVIDIA just went green on the day. SMCI's up a little bit. That's a stock that worries.
All-time highs. Trader.
This is the one that worries me a little bit. SMCI.
Yeah,
like the old round trip to the morning to the early year. It's not quite the beginning of the year levels, but yeah, it just tried to get back up and break it out, and you fail to break. Doesn't get through that 470. So if this loses the bid here, call it like 430. That's one that could be in a little bit of trouble. It's got this nice consolidation where it's trying to go, but every single time it's done this, there's your bounce, consolidation, It's been a fail, consolidation, fail, consolidation, fail. So it needs to buck that trend. This should be another sort of low-key name to watch, especially after 2 o'clock. I think it's...
Good morning, Ramin.
This breaks either way. It could be a good one.
Good morning, Ramin.
No treats today, though.
She's got some granola or something over there. I didn't see what that was.
I just saw the kiwi.
Oh, it's kiwi. Oh, I saw kiwi over there.
There's kiwi in the bowl.
They have mango. They have everything over there.
The fruit bowl game is
fruit bowl game is stepping
it up big time.
Fruit bowl game is stepping
big
it up.
time.
All right, back to the desk.
All right, a few other things of note. I think you guys are making a good point from the Fed standpoint that, and I think it's worth noting, bigger is not necessarily better in this case, and could indicate that they're seeing bigger cracks in the underlying economy if they do go bigger. I don't think 75 basis points would happen, but 50 basis points definitely seems to be on the table at this point. When they're coming back down, it's almost better if they do it, slower and more controlled and more increment. Anything bigger could be a very, very big shock to the system here.
Yeah, I agree. And it's interesting because I think if they got the July data a couple of days, Brendo, that July jobs data that we got that really kind of sent the market down, I think they would have cut around that time, but they didn't. So that kind of leaves the question, do they make up for that lack of a cut with a 50 basis points cut? We know they've been behind the curve in raising and cutting. So we'll see. I mean, it's so many variables today.
Yeah, and the Fed funds tool definitely showing that. Lots of unknowns, lots of question marks. Meanwhile, lots of strength in tech to talk about today. Sharif and I were just talking about Google. We'll get to that in a sec, but it was Baird, William Baird, initiating coverage on a whole bunch of big tech names, including this one. NVIDIA trying to bounce right now after another negative day yesterday. What is that? 2, 3 in a row, it looks like, for NVIDIA to the downside. It's kind of an interesting spot to be looking at these. So it was, it was William Blair initiating coverage on NVIDIA, ARM, and Broadcom, all with outperform ratings here.
Loving the microchip sector. You can tell there, Brendo, and especially NVIDIA, they love the revenue increase year over year. So we already know that we've had a 217% increase in revenue this year, and now they're forecasting, William Baird, that is 132% for revenue growth in 2025. They're talking about it being obviously a niche in the gaming, automotive, and visualizations, as well as high-powered computing. So nothing we don't know.
Yeah, Sean, you were just mentioning, the account's looking great at this point. This is probably helping Google with what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, working on 6 days in a row to the upside. Just took out the testing pre-market highs here right now.
Can't stop.
See why Google's not looking a little better. The account would be looking much better. But yeah, Google's one of the names that still underneath the 50-period moving average, right? I mean, we talked about how good. Look, we're long all the tech names, but this isn't going to be our heaviest position. Like Meta's up here, like there's a lot of names that are breaking out. We just saw Microsoft yesterday make that move back up to 440 and trying to take that out. It did dip down in, but Microsoft's 460 all-time highs. We're not too far away from that. I still think Google has a lot of runway here to get all the way back to the upside there. Of course, the EU drops those, $8 billion worth of fines or whatever, and then now they come back on 2 billion of them. Like, this is what these companies just have to deal with. So I find like whenever you get a lot of this is a DOJ investigation, and they're hugely, wildly profitable. There's something that we can't live without right now. Their cloud is absolutely huge. The largest. We already know how big that is. AWS, Azure. I mean, they're all just running. All these mega cap companies. I really believe that they'll be advantageous during this rate cut cycle. I think more money will pour into these names. I mean, I'm a little disappointed with Google. I thought it should be at least closer to some of those other names, back up to the upside. But again, with search revenue in question, with ChatGPT and the way people are maybe using Gemini versus the other ones, and where the ads are going to come from people using Gemini or the Pixel Pro and things like that, some of these new releases that they have, I mean, they're still in the game. I like Google, but I'm not really in love with it. So I do have it. It is the #1 trade idea today on the sticky note. So there's that. But I'm liking the name. I like the news today. But as Neil mentioned before, and I think we've all mentioned, there's not that much happening right now. Yesterday was a very, very choppy day, easy to lose money yesterday, easy to get chopped up in some of those stop orders and key levels. So for today, I think you look at Google because it's up 1%. Yesterday, Intel had great opportunities. I said it was the biggest miss for me yesterday. We had some great gets, but biggest miss was Intel breaking back up through VWAP. So there's a lot of things that I like, and I think today I like Google.
And the thing about trading a trend is there's lots of good ways to do it. Like Google's none of these days in the last 7 in a row. And by the way, if you look at when Alphabet made that bottom, yeah, this was, remember Oracle? Yeah, Oracle on the 9th, did a bit of a bottoming or reversal candle. The next day was a bit tricky on Alphabet there, as you'll see on the 10th. But realistically, like it was kind of a consolidation type day where it just revisited tops and bottoms, heartbeat, and then dip and rip on the 11th. And that's the only day that was parabolic. Everything else about this move in Alphabet has been pretty orderly. And so when you see something like that, you know, you got to be ready for, hey, it could dip back into pre-market lows and bounce. Or maybe we look at the previous close. Those are the two levels I like on it. And if it's going to continue the trend, it's done it every single way. Clean breakout, pull back into prior high, pull back into prior close, pull back into prior high. That's what happens in an upward trend. There's lots of ways you can scale up. And to that point on Intel, you know, I know yesterday was like way too anchored to like even dollar prices, because when it made that reversal, it wasn't until it got back above like 22 that it was any kind of a long, and even then it goes right into pre-market highs and then dumps it. So you want to find, like this looks interesting as a day 2 play just because of how volatile it was yesterday. But if you have something that's actually in a trend, you don't have to worry about, oh, with Intel, does it hold 21.25? If it doesn't hold this, you have a lot of room into the downside. With Alphabet, you just have an upward trend, so I'm not even thinking about the short. I don't have to worry about, hey, where do I like it in this direction? Where do I like it in the other? No. With Alphabet, I just want to follow that trend wherever we can. That's my concern with NVIDIA, because NVIDIA can't seem to break out. That feels weak to me today. Although it got green for about 2 or 3 minutes there, now it's back to slightly red on NVDA. But Alphabet almost 1%. I only want to be looking long that stock.
We were just talking about General Mills here. Downside this morning, not on a lot, but cereal lovers out there, anyone? Snack lovers? I mean, you were just saying this company has a ton of products under their umbrella. Downside here this morning, but I mean, I was just going through some of the numbers here. They don't look that bad. 4.84 billion in Q1 sales versus 4.8 billion, so a slight beat. Top and bottom line, forecast was slightly lower, seems to be the problem, but downside here. I remember reading about this. I think they got into pet food as well at one point in recent years.
Yeah, it's a big bet here. Nice 20. They're betting big on 2025 rebound, Brando. As you look at the daily chart, really held that 63 well, but really making a nice curl back up at that resistance level, though, that we broke down from that $75, $76 area. But to build on what you were saying, a consent quarterly revenue of $4.85 billion outpaced the analyst expectations of 4.8. Net sales fell by 1%, and margins tightened up a little bit. But a good look, and it's been bouncing quite well off that $62 level, so good luck.
Yeah, I mean, consumer products seem to be fine, or that area of the market seems to be fine. I was just double checking on when we're going to get a earnings call from them. 9 o'clock this morning, so just before the open, 9 a.m. for GIS.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like it is a decent looking daily chart, although when you put up the weekly, it's got a peak up there at like $91 from 2023. So it does actually still have some room to go. Got this little heartbeat action going on here above the prior high. Like that gives you like 72, 75 and a half. Ooh, I like that. I like that, the heartbeat action. And then it bounces off 72, it bounces off 72. You got to wait for this call to come out here. I hate when you have earnings calls going into the morning. Not that I think General Mills is usually a stock that you trade, but clearly, like you've got this prior high that's turning into support, and you could see some defensive type names do a little bit better here. That wouldn't surprise me, but the first action to this is down 2% with the call looming. So I don't know about trying to defend something. The volume is absolutely, the volume's very low right now, only 30,000 shares, all I see in the pre-market. So it's probably going to be a bit of a pass. I just want to ask, and thank you for the super chat here from Jesse. Appreciate you, Jesse. Appreciate all of our viewers. Thank you for the super chat there. Look at the 3-month chart, but I'm asking what symbol. Like, we can look at any chart. We can talk about anything. If you guys see something that's moving, you're interested in, let us know. I'm just curious, like, which chart do we want to look at a 3-month of? Was it the overall futures, or is it going to be an individual name that we're talking about? So just clarify, and we can get to that for you there, Jesse.
Yeah, I mean, interesting name, General Mills there. I think there's been like a shift over into value stocks, obviously, as we continue to talk about people chasing yield and getting away from tech and being a little bit more diversified. SXV? Why? No, I forget. There's a value ETF. I always think about the only name that I really own in this space, Procter & Gamble. And I actually looked a little while ago because I was so happy that Procter was near its highs. And I was like, oh, I don't have that much of it. And this was another name that just continues to get higher and higher up. Like, I don't know. I mean, look at that breakout 172. I mean, the market doesn't lie. It wants to keep going higher. I think you stay with Procter & Gamble here. Watch this keep going up. Look at it, hit the 200 period, resist, boom. 50 period looks pretty solid to me. I like PG rate here as it's breaking new highs again. So I mean, you're close to a 178 marker, and as rates come back in, maybe dividend plays look a little more attractive. So we'll have to wait to see what happens with Procter & Gamble. Not a huge dividend, but again, a consumer staple there where you can sort of park your money. I feel like can be okay with it. This is a nice move, man. 150 to 175 this year. You'll take that every day on Procter & Gamble.
We're going to get to upgrades and downgrades here. I was just going through a couple of analyst moves here on some of the earnings names today. I mean, there's a few other ones. We talked about GIS, but nothing too big. Let me know, guys, if Adair's ready. Yeah, we can go over and get some upgrades and downgrades.
Pretty stacked upgrade side of things this morning. ARM getting a nod here from William Blair. William Blair also initiating positive coverage on NVIDIA this morning. So lots of semiconductors on watch. Supermicro also here with a $600 price target and a buy rating from Needham. Barclays upgrading Victoria's Secret this morning, and SiriusXM with his upgrade from Guggenheim and a $20 price target. On the downgrade side of things, kicking off with Edward Life Science. EW sold off pretty aggressively yesterday as well, currently down about 6% pre-market. Insight with his downgrade from Truist. We've got Barclays downgrading Portland General Electric, and last but not least, ResMed getting a downgrade from Wolfe Research. Upgrade side of thing, pretty interesting this morning, guys.
Siri did that. The old reverse split on, Siri's not as bad as other stocks that have reverse split recently, because I think most other stocks that have done reverse splits look a heck of a lot worse than Sirius Satellite. Either they do parabolic moves or they just absolutely tank, but it's on that, the downward slope that you usually find after a reverse split. It attempted to break out, so day one, up. Day two, tried to break the high and then closed. Day three, lost it, and now trending down. So the bottom here, first day post split, was about 25-ish support. That looks like a nice resistance spot. We kind of already went over SMCI. And I saw ARM on that upgrade list. I was like, oh yeah, ARM could be interesting. On an upgrade, it's exactly flat. It's at yesterday's lows, which is also Monday's lows, which if you go all the way back to Thursday is where it bounced. So suddenly 135 looks like an intriguing over-under here for ARM. I mean, it's a decent size gap if it loses $135. You just rejected a breakout that couldn't get past 150, so that was screaming on, like this one was a screamer on Friday at the open, and then all it did is start the week dumping off of that level. So I think 135 is key. It also happens to be holding on to the 50-period moving average for dear life. So if the chips start to go down, I mean, ARM is $1.70 away from that 150, so you could trend at least into that level there, despite the upgrade.
Thank you to TLY there in the chat, but the ETF I was looking for was this one, SPYV. So, not just a pretty face here as we talk ETF games, but look at this. This is what I'm talking about. This is the value ETF. Look where we are on this name. So you want to, you're not in tech, you're in other names, all-time highs. Right here. I mean, this continues to climb higher. And then the name that was given to us by chat there was VLUE, which is also a value ETF trying to get going as well. This one looks a little bit more I don't know enough about this, but maybe it's a relatively new one. But right into here, also near highs. So yeah, a couple different names there.
The Vanguard one's strong. VTV is strong.
VTV, yeah. So there we go. I mean, look at this one. SPYV, iShares, boom. Spider series, nice move to the upside. So yeah, many different ETFs to choose, and I think you can park your money in a lot of spaces nowadays and be pretty okay. So let's wait to see here. NASDAQ trying to find a base, up 0.22. It's 8:55, still early.
Just reading another note on GE Healthcare as well, coming through. So GE Healthcare with another analyst move to the upside. So up a little bit here. 87.80 was yesterday's high. 87.80, 87.90. There's also MSTR. We talked about it last week. It had a huge move. What was it? Tuesday or Wednesday of last week, huge move higher to 144, 145 on that purchase of Bitcoin. They bought 1.1 billion worth of Bitcoin. So MicroStrategy announcing the pricing of 875 million in convertible debt. So last week, they came through with a private offering of 700 million of convertible senior notes. So this is pricing actually more than that. And then just prior to that, there was that share sale as well. So they sold 8 million shares going back to the 13th of the month, worth 1.1 billion, and then flipped it right away into Bitcoin.
Yeah, that's their moat, Brando. That's what they're doing. And the debt for both sales, the one on Monday and the one yesterday or today, is both for 2028. So you have the convertible note is going to be at 6.125, which is obviously above market because the Fed overnight rate was 5.3, so a little bit of a premium there. The initial conversion price of that offering, 183.9, which represents a 40% premium above where the volume weighted average price was for the stock yesterday. We'll have to see how it trades today.
Yeah, I mean, we've given back that move. We're right back to that pre-buy move. I mean, you guys looked at Bitcoin there briefly, not really doing a heck of a lot, but MSTR downside here so far.
Things a little bit. I mean, Bitcoin is essentially, I mean, it's at 60,000 or just very, very barely underneath it here. So it's look at that over-under level. It feels like the last time we were here, if you go back and sort of look at what happened the last time we tested underneath, you just held it, didn't really get anywhere near to 61,000. I feel like you're going sideways on this today, at least until 2 o'clock. So if you're trading one of these names, I think you want to be at trend. MSTR is clearly in a reversal, at least for now, like failed breakout. You can say head and shoulders or whatever you want to give to that. I think that's reasonable. Oh yeah, it's not going to be split adjusted. I'll stay on the 15. So it's like a head and shoulders. If you pop back into previous lows, like in here, and then afternoon highs, that's a 132.5. It's usually MAR that I'm more interested in as far as the trade goes. And this is still riding the bottom of a pretty clear dip support. If you see what I'm getting at here, like every time this is dumped at the open, dump's maybe the harsh word to use, but every time it's sold off at the open, it's been able to hold on to 15.5 and kind of snap back. So if it were to do that again today, I mean, it's about 15.3, 15.4 that's been holding on MARA. But even then, you're still in that same pattern. You're failing breakouts above 16. So when it breaks 16, you're kind of just looking for the turn, and then it trends back down. And this is because you're not holding any breakouts above 60,000. So if we break out above and then come back under or fail to break out, then you're usually wanting to fade something like a MARA. But just be careful, that 15.3 level. There's buyers in here on MARA since it bounced off 13. And I think this is the one level that you look for a snapback. It's not really a support level. You can't call something support when all you have is a bunch of wicks down there that get bought up at the open. But this is the open. That would be the place that they've been buying it. About 30 cents down from here on MARA. Check that 40.
I want to thank Josh Raposo here for the $10. Thank you so much for that one. BTI for a dividend. Yeah, I mean, I just checked it out. 7.5% for British Tobacco. Of course, it's an ADR. So, I mean, the stock has been, forget about dividend, man. I mean, this has been whomps, right there to the upside. So congratulations, Josh. You held this one for a dividend. You got some nice capital as well. That was a great hold if you're playing this name from January right here. $30 up to 40 in pretty much a straight line over the last month and a half. I mean, basically from June. Huge move to the upside, a little bit of a pullback into there yesterday. I didn't I didn't look to see what that was about. Maybe it was earnings or something, but big move down yesterday for British Tobacco. So we'll have to wait to see what that's about. Did not do enough work to see what it is, but yeah, 8% dividend yield.
Dividend.
Right now, ex-dividend yesterday. Okay,
No, and all of a sudden maybe I don't know.
maybe. I mean, it has these nice dips in all here. Is it a monthly dividend? I don't know, but anyways, that would make sense actually. So a nice move down there for BTI. But yeah, great look there, and thank you, Josh, for that one. And Ahmed here. Oh, thank you so much with that for the happy birthday wishes again. Thank you for all your time and experience. Yeah, you're welcome. And hopefully trading is profitable for you as well. Really appreciate that, Ahmed. And thanks for coming back every single day, right? I mean, that's what we want to do is thank everybody for coming through. It'll be my birthday again next year, so I hope to see all of you right back here next year. And this time, and bring your friends.
That's how it works.
That works, yeah.
Usually. Unless you're born in a leap year.
56.99, guys. That's where we closed out yesterday on the ES December contract. We are now charting on the December contract. We literally didn't move anything. I kept the same closing print as yesterday. We defended 5,700, that general 5,700 point area, but we also rejected that range we were talking about. 57.25 continues to be a top going all the way back to mid-August, Brendo. Let's see if we can break it today. If we get a good little bump.
I feel like it might, but whether it's up or down, we'll see. By the end of the day, I was saying when we were off camera there, I feel like today's the day that we're either up 3% or down 3%. Who knows?
I agree.
Which way this ends when all is said and done. If you haven't done so, go down to the description of this video right now. There's a link there for the watch list. All you have to do is enter your email address, and then we send it to you every single day. Has everything you need to know on it in the pre-market. Hey, we were just talking about Google. Let's touch on it one more time. Not a heck of a lot on the news side of things today for individual names, but there are a lot of things moving around. Already pushing 1% here, 0.9 right now, back to highs for Google.
Yeah, so this is what happened. Back in 2019, Google got fined about 1.5 billion euros for abusing its market dominance with AdSense and search. Since that time, they basically have changed the contract that was in question at the time. They no longer do that. Now, in the Court of Appeal, that 1.5 billion euros got thrown out and is going to go back to that first court to see what the quantum of damage is. It's still up to the European Commission, though, if they want to appeal to a higher court to impose that 1.5. But right now, they're off the hook for it.
Same old, same old.
Oh, yeah.
Every time we talk about this story, it seems to always end the same way. Sean, you mentioned your thoughts there. Let's run through it one more time here for Alphabet.
All right, yeah, so Google, I have it written down here on the sticky note today. And I mean, just for some of the levels that I was thinking about, hold on, I got to close some messages that I had with people here on my chat. But I was looking at this. It's up 0.94. We talked about how strong it's been over the last couple days. Yeah, I did like a little bit of a rant where I still think it can go up here. I'm not buying anymore. I didn't buy any on the dip. I'm pretty much fully loaded on this name and where we want to be. But I think it gets up to 165. I think it can even get there today. I don't think there's anything stopping this. It's at 161 right now. That's going to be some kind of support or resistance. If we get up to there, it's 166, 167. So I'm looking to fade it if we get to there. But that means if we get to there, that means we have to go long early, right? I mean, if it's going to get up to that level, let's go. It's up 1%. The market's now breaking higher. The market's now taking out those pre-market highs. Trying to anyways. We know that 19.7 has been pretty key for the futures. So here goes Google trying to get back up to the upside. I like the stock, and I like it enough that it is today the number one trade idea here. And I actually, you can see Powell here. You see he's looking at the sticky note right here. Like he's like thinking about it. He's looking, he's like, wow, okay, we got some names on there. But you can see 159 is where I like the long. That little ban off the EU, I don't know, man. We'll see. It's coming off. It's what, 1.6 billion euros. They sort of took off of that. I like to move back in if the market gives it to us down here at 159. I'm not going to wait for that bottom of 158.50. I mean, you can wait for things all you want. I mean, that's fine. But I'm gonna get involved at 159, maybe even 159.50. Like dropping into yesterday's close seems to be good enough for me. But I like the stock. It's holding above 160. That's the 200 period. We really like that level as well. So I'm buying dips on Google today. It's the one name that I like today, breaking above 160, heading to that 165. I think there's a magnet there. And if other traders are like-minded, which I know they are, we got to trade strong names. And I'm probably the simplest trader here. It's buying and selling support and resistance with catalysts. It's really that simple. That's all that I do, and it works. And it works all the time. So I'm going to continue to do it here today. Follow me for more action.
Yeah, I think Google's a simple one as well today. So it was top of my note because it was nothing else. When I pull up my quote board of the names that I usually look at, it's a longer quote board, there was nothing that was double digits. Well, not double digits, over 1%. Like absolutely nothing had moved over 1% overnight. So immediately you didn't have a ton of price action. And Alphabet, as we said, it's trending up already. A. B, it was leading the market in terms of the Mag 7. And then throw on top of that you do have, like yesterday's close to me that's still over underline. Like if it holds on, it's 159.30, which means dips into that level. If it holds on to this, it was already a key resistance that got broken out. It lost it yesterday, fine, but now you're gapping back above it. So it's like throw that out, want to be long into 159.30. I would tend to agree. You're at least along until the 166 level. I don't know that you test a level like that and break it before Fed. I think that would be incredibly unlikely. So, looking longs into previous close on Alphabet. If it loses a previous close, I wait for it to regain it. Otherwise, I shouldn't be long. Brendo?
Over at Moomoo, they're shaking up the investing game with their cash sweep program, offering an incredible 8.1% APY on uninvested cash, far surpassing typical stock returns. Your cash earns interest 24/7, and you can access it anytime to reinvest when the market turns. Plus, sign up now, snag 15 free stocks and bonuses up to $2,300 if you're in Canada. Don't let your money sit idle. Make it work for you. Let's talk Palantir. Down day yesterday, more negativity coming through today. Alex Karp unloading, Kathy Wood unloading, or continuing to unload. She's been selling for a while, but I mean, a huge bounce. I mean, people taking advantage here.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's very close to all-time highs. So here's a look, guys. Alex Karp, that is, he exercised options to acquire Class A shares, acquired 8.5 and change million shares, immediately sold those shares onto the open market. The execution took place on the 16th and the 17th of this month. The price that he sold at ranged between 36 and 37, and it was part of a trading plan. Brendo, this was not spontaneous. So
I mean, it's worth watching today, but I think the action is going to come, as we said, after 2 o'clock. This is kind of interesting from Bespoke. If you haven't followed, go follow them on Twitter. Bespoke Invest. This is a 3-month overall market performance after the first rate cut in a cycle. So 3 months out, a lot of green on this board. So according to this, historically, more upside to come here, guys.
I like it. Notice you see at the top of that some defensive type names. Now, usually you're making rate cuts because you're concerned about the economy, so people are trying to get a little bit defensive. It's a little bit unique here in that not everyone is completely convinced that there's all that bad going on in the economy. That said, I mean, Palantir, this is the type of, it's down 1.5 points. So like Alphabet's up, relative to a somewhat flat market, the NASDAQ's up 1/4 point here. Palantir down 1.5. And obviously it failed to hold that 37 break. They are getting added to the S&P, and that's, I mean, effectively, the effective date is, as of Monday, you have to have it in there if you're tracking the S&P, but that means on Friday is going to be that big action at the close. You got a couple of days. I think there will be a bid on this at some point. I just don't know that I want to do anything but play retracements on Palantir. Like, it's clear that 37 found a resistance spot, and if you look at how big the move has been, I just see a rejection of the top and want to look for lower highs. I feel like this about the way I feel about Intel, where I want to give it a chance to do the same thing it did before. Intel, I just think, is a little bit more extreme, why I prefer it, but you had a big gap up, there was some exuberance and a bit of an upward trend, and then they dumped it. So I want to be shorting back into prior highs. It's 22, a pretty key level on Intel. And when you talk about Palantir, I think that afternoon resistance level at 36.60 is kind of double tapped it. That's right around where it closed. If it's not breaking that, I'm thinking fade on Palantir here today. So, there's lots to look at. This is one that is outpacing the market, but in the other direction. So if you're looking for names that are moving, we're going to be on what moves here today, even if it's a little bit muted. So hit that like, hit that subscribe. If there's names that you want to talk about in the chat or ask us about, make sure you hit the subscribe. It's a subscribers only chat that we have going on. So if you want to engage with the community, engage with us live while we're on the show and while the market is open, hit that sub so that you're able to get into the chat and ask your questions and be a part of a great trading community.
All right, we have written on here Palantir, again on the sticky note, for 36.50 short sell. CEO selling, Alice Karp, what's good, my guy there, selling some at $36.50 and $37. So we say, what a smart gentleman that was, again, selling at highs, good for him. Play the 35.50 break short. So I'm gonna give you actual idea that I'm gonna be looking for off the jump. So I like the short. We just talked about shorting into here, 36.20. So if that can come in, 36.50 is actually the area that I was looking at, so right into here if we do get a bump for Palantir today. But look what's been happening. Yeah, he's been selling all right. I mean, I was wondering that whole time, like, why were we getting these kind of actionable plays, right? I mean, there was big selling on Palantir off the open the last couple of days, so that now makes sense. Look at the volume that's hitting off the open. We had big and buy imbalances, sell imbalances, everything on Palantir. So now it's kind of coming through on that, right? He only sold couple 100,000 shares, right? So it's that would make sense where we get that. There was buying balances of a couple 100,000. So all you have to do is offset that and get market price. So, but anyways, all right. So right here, looking like it wants to break lower, 35.80, 35.50. If we go back in over to this screen, and this is where we'll see that 35.50. I just thought we could lose it right into here, and then we'll see what happens at 35. I think 35 is too much of a crowded trade because you have 34.80. Like, I don't know. I would rather just get short on this break. It's the 200 period moving average or so. We'll see if it breaks that. I'm going to try my luck with a 35.50 break. And if it comes back up and takes out 36, we lose 50 cents, we lose 50 cents. Palantir was pretty much our only red name yesterday. We had red names, but one of significant nature where we lost trying to play those longs. So we'll flip it over today, see about a short. I'd hate to lose long yesterday, lose short today, but if we're traders, we're traders. We're here to actually put some, bread on the table. Let's see if Palantir can do that for us today.
For semiconductors, once again, a group that might be, well, we'll see. Anyway, I was just going to talk about influence when it comes to the Fed and what happens this afternoon. Might be the most heavily influenced to the upside, potentially this afternoon, but we'll see. William Blair initiating coverage on a whole bunch of semi-specific names today, including NVIDIA.
Yep, ARM, one of them as well, and the NVIDIA chiming in on this one, basically saying what we all know, the leader in niche markets like gaming, automotive visualizations, and high-powered computing. But here's what they really love, the data center revenue year-over-year increase. We already know that this year was a 217% increase year-over-year for that category. Next year, they're accounting for 132% increase, Brendo, which is supposedly going to bring in $110 billion in revenue. Just to give you some context here, 2023 was $15 billion in revenue. Not a big jump.
And you were just saying some comments from them yesterday suggesting we're still only just beginning. Mm-hmm. So a lot more to come. But I think this range here, guys, so far in the pre-market telling the story today.
Yeah, I agree 100%. It's back to green. It's been red. It's been green. It's, trying to get higher here. It's pretty much the NASDAQ and the NVIDIA are more or less lockstep at this moment. I think NVIDIA is, obviously they're going to make a ton of money. I'm not concerned with them in the longer time frame pretty much at all. What I'm not a huge fan of the last few days is you can see what's going on at the 50-period moving average. It's just clinging to it. And I feel like we might not break away from that until we get the Fed number. And it's been trouble at this price. And you can see it tried to break away to the top, 120. That's a level to watch this afternoon, I believe, because if it can take out and get past that 120, even break 121, I mean, that would be huge. But until then, it's been in a slight downward trend. Now I'm looking at not yesterday's close. I'm looking at the close on Monday, which is right about 116.75. That's the zone of interest for me. Even if it breaks this 116, it was right in here where there was a clear seed change yesterday. It was morning bottom, was at the previous close, so it dipped into the previous close, and then ripped, lower high, flat bottom break at that previous close price. So it's just underneath 117, about 116.75. I'm going to drop my little line in there just so I have it on my chart, but I know what I'm looking at. And if it does not break this, let it try to run into it on the open. If we can't break above, I want to fade that level. If it's breaking at 117, I think you've got to trend at least until that 120 level. I highly suspect you're not breaking that before 2 o'clock, even if it's super strong. So looking at Monday's close price is the key for me on NVIDIA to short under.
Gotta stay hydrated. Well, yeah, look, I mean, 115, again, that's a 200 period moving average. This is just a 20-minute chart. Looks like it wants to hold it, right? I mean, let's go. Here's the move down. Here's the break higher. Here's the hold. It's held it now for a couple days in a row. We can wait to see if it wants to do it again. I just think, when we trade NVIDIA, it's bangers, it's huge trades. There's lots of action. It's just, yesterday was pretty choppy. We did have some moves down, pretty choppy up here. It's great to trade when we're trending. Not so great when it's choppy. Great to trade, making moves down, choppy in here. And I just feel similarly to this. So, I mean, this is 115. Let's just call it like it is. It's a pretty easy trade down there. We've seen it now yesterday. We saw it the day before at 116 hold. There's the 115 bottom. This is when we wrote down 115 as a hold, and we got stopped out and then had it back. So we can wait to see that happens again. But right there, 114.50. That's the bottom from yesterday, 80s. I think you want to wait for that. If you get that fill, you give it a buck and you take the shot. But for me, NVIDIA, as where the market is, I'd just rather trade the NASDAQ. The two top stocks, I can look it up, I think for the last year is going to be NVIDIA and the TQQs. So I just today rather trade the futures on what's going to be a Fed day. So I'm going to look over here and just try to look at 66 bucks maybe. We have the TQQ written on here at 65 break. If we could break back down below that, then I think it's looking a little bit better. There's 65 right here. That could break. I don't know if it breaks off the open, but a downside market, I like this pressure back in on the NASDAQ. I'm actually not even looking topside. I'm just looking sell. I just want to see if this market can hold. Let's see about a downside push here. We've already seen disaster come through at $56, $57. We don't get that today, but for me, I'd rather look at the NASDAQ than the semis. And then I'd also rather look at AMD, I think, than NVIDIA. So I think there's just, and that's been a change, right? I haven't really been looking at AMD too much. But you see what I mean? Like this is a nice move down. So choppy, not much happening. Nice move down right into 150, a key 150 area. So just like NVIDIA needs to get to that 120, between 120 and 115, this name looks like it wants to get from 150 to 155. So, I like this name a little bit better. And I think if we break 149 right here on AMD, then we get some pressure back into the low 140s. So there's going to be a lot of opportunities today. Not sure if it's going to happen immediately, but AMD over NVIDIA for me.
Let's touch on Apple taking out the highs from yesterday already here in the pre-market this morning, showing a little bit of relative strength coming out of this range anyways after the big down day. I mean, there's not much. This was kind of an interesting note. Foxconn, Apple supplier Foxconn teaming up with Sharp on an EV prototype project after Apple poured, $1 billion into their car project and then said pass. So we'll see what happens with that. I mean, we got that note yesterday on JP Morgan, maybe picking up the pieces from Goldman on the credit card. Yep,
there was that headline, a few headlines today in addition to the one that you mentioned, Brendo. We obviously got those delivery times for China yesterday, and they were below expectations as compared to last year. Now we have U.S. times or so. UBS claims here wait times for the U.S. are 26 days compared to this time last year where it was 40 days and 18 days in China as compared to last year 36 days. Morgan coming in kind of, contradicting a little bit of what UBS said there. Morgan Stanley says Apple early iPhone lead times have little predictive power. There was also this headline over here. I don't know exactly too much about this. Deliveries from a Chinese bearing supplier for Apple's new MacBook Air have been halted owing to quality concerns, basically reshipping those MacBook Airs to the U.S. and Taiwan, not for sale in China, apparently.
Up exactly the same as the market right now, guys, is Apple.
You know what's interesting? The early move on Apple has been wrong in the general sense every day for the last week on Apple. And culminating with just this week, it's broken the bottom. The first thing it's done every morning, broke 215 in here, got to 14, right back up to 217. Yesterday at the open, it was a sell back into 215, right back into the 217 top, ends up closing near that high. Now it's trying to break out, I think, an obvious level. Previous support was at 217 quarter, Monday's top, double top actually that day, and it's trying to break it out here. So I'm a little bit worried. What I want to see is this, if it survives the opening range above 217, I think it's an easy long. If the first thing that happens is it tries to go and then we fail underneath and Apple turns into a short, it's a clear over-under level. I got 217 quarter, but you call it 217 just as well for Apple. So it's positive on the day, but it's exactly up what the market is. I just don't like the fact that it's been a head fake. If you let the opening range settle on this and all it's done is fail this level, like break out and fail, then you've got to be able to go in the other direction here for AAPL. So Apple right now is above 217, but I'm not joining this until it holds the opening range. If anything, I might look for the reversion if it can't hold on in the first 15 to 30 minutes.
Apple. All right, so Apple is actually another name that is on the sticky note today. And yeah, I mean, I like it. You can go. I almost wrote down sticky there. AAPL. So let me just review what I wrote down here. 217 has been the top all week. Let's see a break and hold. So it's already broke and it's holding. So again, we write this note. It wasn't broken when we wrote this note down here at 216. What a great note it was. It takes out that 217 and it's holding. I like the long Apple 217. It's a no-brainer. I should almost put a bid right there right now. It's breaking out, right? I mean, this is what we're looking for right there. 217, there's the break. It's as it was written. I'm not going to be taking too many shares in the pre-market, but we maybe should have taken this one. Apple above 217. I like the stock. We've talked about that. I think all these reports are absolute crap, to be honest with you. Let me just see the numbers. Apple will release them. They'll come public. Let's see who's actually ordering the iPhone 16. I'll probably grab 2 of them. We'll see what winds up happening here. Apple up a quarter point, looking to break higher. I like the stock above 217. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy.
Agreed. Let's go to Meta here. A few minutes ago, JP Morgan with some thoughts, or Jamie Dimon specifically. I mean, this is more about Facebook, but Jamie Dimon saying yesterday he thinks social media platforms like TikTok and Facebook are a total stupid waste of time, according to the CEO of the biggest bank on the planet.
I don't disagree, Brendo. I'm a little hypocritical in saying that, but yeah. So here's the look, guys. The Meta headline is interesting today. There's a European Union angle to this, and they're investigating, surprise, surprise, another U.S. big tech company, this time Meta, for potential monopolistic practices in the classified advertising market. This is something that I use often. I always talk to you about Facebook Marketplace. This is what they're talking about here. They're talking about whether Meta links Facebook's Marketplace service within its social network in the Facebook app purposely to undermine competition. They could fine them up to 10% of their global revenue, which is insane because that's $135 billion, Brendo. Meta denied the allegations, obviously. Preliminary findings in the investigation came out in 2022, and we still haven't had a conclusive look yet.
Let's be honest. Of course they do.
Of course they do.
Of course they do. All-time highs, guys, right around the corner here for Meta.
A triple top 545. This is the one. This is the big cap or whatever Mag 7 name that is poised to make such a move tonight this afternoon when we come on. And there was a question in the chat: are we going to come on early at 2? In front of 2 o'clock? 100%. Yeah, we're going to be on. Sean and I are going to come back with Brendan at the desk before 2, so that when the number comes out, we're all settled in. We have our plan of action, all that good stuff. So don't worry about that. We will be on, and we always do this on a rate decision. We'll always come a few minutes early at 2 o'clock. So Meta. Triple top at $545. I feel like that's exactly the kind of level before we get to Fed that would be a fade. So if it does get, yesterday's high was actually 42, so it has to contend with that before it even gets to that 545. But I'm looking at that and thinking it's a little bit of a fade level. There was a couple of people have asked me about DJT this morning. I know we were trading DJT in the afternoon. They get dumped off. Dumped is a harsh word. So it's sold off in the afternoon, sort of making another trend to the downside. And it's now been consecutive days on DJT. I mean, on a daily chart, it's more than just a couple of days, but it's been a couple of days since the I'm not selling announcement. And since then, all it's done is trend back in after going higher. So I did pay for locates today on it, and I'm looking for an opportunity. The last couple of days, you haven't really had a chance to short pops. And if they are, they have been shallow. So I look at the afternoon, like that late range where we broke the bottom, goes into pre-market highs in here to 16 and a third or so. So that's about as far as I would let that pop, and then look for a little bit of a curl on DJT. So I'm thinking short there. And as far as Meta goes, I know it's super strong. It can't get to 545 without actually breaking highs, trending higher. I just like Alphabet a little bit better, and I feel if that happens, then that means Apple's going to have held that 217 very likely, and Google I like for a little bit more strength trending up. So I'd rather play something else to the long side, and then if Meta does get to that triple top all-time high, I think that's a fade up until at least that 2 o'clock. All bets are off at 2. I wouldn't be sitting on the offer in front of Meta's all-time high when they lower rates. And again, we don't know what we're going to get. Is it going to be the quarter? Is it going to be the half? I tend to think that the money markets are saying 50. I'm kind of thinking it's 25, but it doesn't really matter. You got to trade that first half of the day as is. So I'd rather play other things long, and if Meta gets to that top before 2 o'clock, 5:45, I'd be shorting it up there.
Part of the reason why our accounts are at all-time highs right now is because of Meta. Meta's been an absolutely fantastic stock. Buying these names on dips have been huge. Any stories of more fines or this or that, or Jamie Dimon, who's made probably $1 billion off Meta, goes ahead and talks negatively about it. I actually think that's a good catalyst to go long. So, why not, man? 545, I think that's a great break long. If you have the opportunity to take that, I would. So 545, where are we right now? Yeah, we're not going to, we could get there, and if we do, I think it's a long. So I think you got to break that, and we'll just wait to see what winds up happening. Not on my radar because it's a $500 stock right now. There are better names. I've just talked about Apple, how much I like where that is right now. Palantir's now making a move back up to the upside. Hey, man, maybe we just run the rest of the day. I mean, that's possible. The market's at highs right now, trying to think about taking it out. You probably take this print right off the open. So, I could see that happening. Let the market settle down after the first 10 or 15 minutes, try to figure out which way we want to go before Powell. But for right now, market's holding. I think you have to like longs. We'll still sit for Palantir, see if we can get a short up here. But for right now, man, the market is heading to the north side. Tupperware, that sell still from a couple days ago. So that's never going away. Occidental, we can look up at, where is that? 51. Okay, so we already talked about watching $50 on that break at some point, maybe even 51. Palantir's with a small sell. Is that you, Alex? You selling more over there? 193,000 shares coming through right now. And then if you want to go PAGs to riches, PAGs is here as well, 106 to buy. So nothing really on here other than Palantir that will probably be trading today. CCL has been on one lately as well. We can watch out for that stock right here. So there's CCL, 6 or 7 straight days to the upside. All right, it's back to the desk to Sharif.
All right, guys, we're continuing the trend reversal talk today by talking about double tops and bottoms. Catch that with Adair and I on How to Trade at 11.
1 to 108 or whatever.
Thank you very much there, Sharif. Yeah, look, NVIDIA's been holding green. Apple's see
what happens.
That can't be a real wick. I know Apple just made a move to the upside. I wasn't on the stock to see if it actually got to 218 there, but that's what it's showing me. So it's above and holding on to that 217 a quarter. That's the key over enterprise. As long as it can hold on to that, looking good. There weren't a lot of imbalances there, as Sean was showing you, but when they did hit, Alphabet dropped. So I didn't see a sell imbalance on Google, but sure enough, it did make a move down 50 cents or so. Should, at this rate, if it's going to buck the market trend, because the market kind of ticked up a little bit there, then I think going into that previous close is a distinct possibility. Sean already went over Palantir. Apologies for the wick on NVIDIA. NVIDIA did make a move to try to break 116. I'll have to try to get rid of that dark pool wick up there, but it is trying to make a move higher. And then we didn't say anything about Tesla, so very, very quickly, Tesla just broke $230. I still think 235 is resistance on Tesla. Was really more thinking the 226 was going to be a support, but Tesla just broke 230. If I see 235 today, that's been that big level to the upside. Let's get the countdown going. Adara, brought to you by Firefly on this Fed Day. Firefly Neurosciences. Let's ring the bell in their honor in 3, 2, and 1. Bring it.
All right, the first thing that we may get into is Apple, but Apple is gone. Apple's up to 218 right now and starting to rip higher, so bye-bye Apple. Nice move. We talked about them possibly going to the top side, but the futures right now just hit it and now making a move back in. So we're going to go top to bottom right here on open, but look at Apple go. Bang, bang, bang. Yo, TF Securities, where are you at now on those iPhones? iPhoney, we talked about that yesterday. We'll see what happens here. Apple's starting to go up to the upside. What's our friend Google doing right now? Let's have a quick
following
look
with the
Google.
market.
Okay, good. 159 and change. So here comes Google. We just take a long on something there. What was it? Google. We are into Google right now. Watch out, 159 coming into play.
Yeah, it's right down there. So Google's headed to the downside. Actually going up also is Intel, but it is Alphabet coming back into that previous close price. Look, Apple's gone at this point. We'll get resistance at $220 on Apple, I think is one worth watching. DJT is making an attempt to break $16. Was looking to short the pop, but we might just have to go for a flat bottom break at the 16 even level on DJT. But Alphabet's the one under some pressure as the market's going down with Apple going straight into the upside. Apple looking very relatively strong. At this point, I don't want to chase it. I said that first move has been a bit of a bamboozler if you don't have it the last couple of days. So no chase for me on Apple. You'll have to wait for a bit of a dip and a retest.
All right. If this breaks 159, we can get out. We've already taken some out there at 40s and at 50s for Google, so it's already a good trade, but it's just holding right now. It's only 10 cents in the money, and I don't want to necessarily get it out. We're going to wait still. We're waiting at 65s. Maybe I'll put something in the 40s here, take out another maybe 20% if it comes back up. But right now, yeah, like Neil said, man, Google is struggling to the downside. So we're going to have to wait out
19s already?
For that one. 19's on where?
No, Apple.
Oh, Apple. Yeah, Apple's a monster, man. I mean, this is why we put that down. Easy. Remember, I mean, I literally said easy peasy, lemon squeezy on Apple going long. And unfortunately, it breaks 217 as it was written. But it happened in the pre-market, and then there it goes. Bye-bye, Apple. See you later to the upside. I'm going to let this thing chill. I think if you want to short it, it would be around a 220. We probably already are in something right now that can really be big. So we're going to wait to see what happens with Google. Hopefully it can come back up to the upside. We like the long in the name. We talked about that. So let's wait to see if it goes. Here it goes into the 40s, into the 50s, into the 60s is where I'm sitting. Let's see if Google wants to go. It's 20 cents on probably the biggest position today. So let's wait to see what happens here. Here it goes. Let's get back up to the upside. I'm at 65s. So you just saw it bounce off of me. They're at 65. That would have been sweet to grab that fill right now. This is real trading, man. We take the bid, we wait. Now let's wait to see what winds up happening here. We've already scalped out of about a third of it. We just got missed at 65. That's bothering me a little bit. We may have to put that down into the 50s. But right now, Google trying to go upside right here.
Yeah, it's trying, but I just saw the same thing you did right up at that 60 level. It printed 50s, no problem. I'm going to reload this one if we get a chance. DJT flat bottom broke it. I didn't get the fill on the way down, but I did catch it a bit on the way back up at 95. So now Google's starting to go, but it broke VWAP almost instantly. We're going to jump back into this one after getting wicked out. It's not SSR or anything like that, but there wasn't a ton of liquidity underneath the 16. So now it's starting to look a little bit better in Google. Palantir is making a move. So Palantir is at that key price, that 36.50 area. So just got through 40s. This is where we're looking for the curl on Palantir. That one's shooting into the upside here on PLTR. We like resistance from the afternoon on this. Just want to let it calm down a bit. You're screaming up. Don't have to stand in front of the moving freight train. Now, the market's going down and this is going up. So keep that in mind. It's a bit of a counter trend trade, but we're looking for that resistance to hold on PLTR.
Yep. All right. We're short Palantir. And by the way, guys, honestly, this is what we do. This is how we trade, right? I mean, those of you that are looking for trade ideas, we wrote it down. People talk in the back, you know, like prop trading. It is hard to graduate. There's no doubt about that. But we wrote down 159 long. It just went 70 cents in the money. So even if you trade little baby share, 100 shares, something like that, that's still 70, 80 bucks, you know? And I mean, if you're trying to build up on confidence and do things like that, that's a good trade right there. Even if you are trading like baby smaller shares like that, that would be something that you'd want to look at. Take advantage of these moves, man, and make sure you do check out the sticky note. Because you know what? Here's a sticky note again, and this is, again, another name. This is only a $36 name. We wrote down on here, Neil, short 36.50. Bang, that's 2 for 2, Mr. Roberts, on these trades right now. Palantir, there it goes. Let's start taking some more out, man. I mean, this is what we're doing. It's a short at 36.50. We take the trade, and that's what it is. So there you go, man. I mean, trade your ideas, and hopefully they'll turn out to be profitable for you. It's Google right now that's starting to come back in. We have the Palantir short, so all good on that one. But let's start to empty out a little bit more on Google, as we did take the, wow, Palantir, I said Google might be the call, but maybe Palantir's the call right there. Let's put some more bids here. If we can get some 21s, then we'll get some 21s. But so far, so good right there. Good day so far here in the markets, although we're trending lower.
Markets coming down here. Let's go to Adara.
Watch out for Intuitive Machines here, LUNR. This one has run in the past, getting some nice volume off the open and up about 60%, getting a contract with a maximum value of $4.82 billion here from NASA. Worth noting as well here, LUNR actually has a market cap of under $1 billion, so pretty significant contract here. About $770 million market cap, 10% short float for LUNR, guys.
Popular runner. I know a few people on the floor looking at that one very heavily. Did you back into DGT there, or DJT, I should say. Google just popped back into the lows as well. So we're going to get over to Alphabet. I didn't get the bid at 159.15. I was sitting there. It bounced off 10s the last time, trying to pick it back up here a little bit higher than that. But you're still trending into the downside on Alphabet. So I want to be certain that we can actually get that bid in front of 159. We are running into resistance at VWAP as well. So it's trying to make its bounce. PLTR is right back up to the tops. So that's starting to come back with the market. But Apple's not dipping at all. Apple's doing clean into $220 at this point. So I feel like this one is going to be on a collision course with the $220 level. I didn't want to punch any kind of a long break on this, so I'd maybe look for some kind of a fail at 220 to play a little bit of a dip buy. So Google's starting to come back in. DJT, we jump back into the short. That's still under 16. 15.3 is the all-time low on DJT. I think if it gets down there, you can probably respect that at least a little bit, temporarily, at least for now. If it gets to 15.3, I'd be out of this short trade.
Unfortunately, Katina Capital slapped a $10 price target on that thing when it was at 80. So we're almost there. We're almost there. Let's see. Palantir right there. I know Neil's short. We're short as well. Let's see what winds up happening right here again off of the sticky note. Today it's just so hot fire. Right now we'll go 2 for 2. It's been a great morning. We mentioned that this was going to be a possibility today into Fed, that you wanted to trade the right names. And so far that's what we've been doing with Google, with Palantir. And I'm just going to start to there goes Google again. We'll take some more out right now. It's been a great morning. Thank you for watching. Please hit the like and the subscribe. It's another trophy day. For now, Adara.
Good luck for Applied Therapeutics, APLT, right off the open here. This one has run a bit in the past, so repeat runner, up about 60% right now after announcing that the FDA told them they no longer need to hold an advisory committee meeting with regards to regulation for its genetic disorder drug. So APLT no longer requiring this FDA meeting. We have a 8.5% short float here, guys.
APLD. So I want to try to show you guys, NVIDIA is about to break the low of the day. I try to get rid of this book. I can't do it. It's breaking to the downside. I'm going to favor, the only thing that looks strong right now is actually Apple. Google's bouncing off the bottom, but the only thing that looks super strong right now is Apple. NVIDIA breaking lows. You've got Tesla breaking down to 217. PLTR just came right back in to the quarters, but it's actually holding higher. So it's underneath the previous close like that. If it holds on at 36, every even dollar is usually pretty significant on PLTR. So I want to respect it. Do have DJT's flat, so that one's looking okay. But I'm going to go back over to NVIDIA. Seems like it does want to hold on to this bottom, or at least attempt to hold on to this bottom. If it does make a bounce, I got to forget about this 116.75 and look to be able to short the pop on trend. So VWAP sits at 115.5 on NVIDIA. Morning resistance about 116. Trend down on this name. Do want to try to get into it, but going to have to be patient with NVDA. Sorry about the wick.
That's all good. All right, Palantir is a trade that we really enjoyed trading today. Yesterday we lost on the long. Today we flip it up, we put it on the sticky note as a short, and we take that exact price that we wanted. 36.50 comes and goes, and right now you're in a huge position, and we are now in the money 25 cents on this trade. So today, just with two trades, right? It's keep it simple. I talked about trading on a prop floor again, and this is why we talked about real trading, talk about the people's trader, all of this kind of stuff. This is how you graduate. This is how you make money. You take the trades that you like, you post them, you do research, you meditate, you do whatever the hell you want to do, and at the end of the day, you take the trades that you've done the work on. Why are we sitting here not doing that, right? So I think that that's the one thing that we have to remember to keep doing. Trust in yourself, take the trades that you like, and this will be the result. So congratulations, everybody that's been here since day one, and you guys know what real trading is all about, and we've talked about this as we continue to go, right? There it goes. It's a nice play right here. We'll wait to see. We're almost out of Google. We only have about 20% left. We talked about scalping out this morning and making sure that we put the winners in our pocket and walk away from the morning green. We're going to obviously do that so far. I mean, it's still very early. It's only 10 minutes in. But let's start to get some more out here on Palantir. We just got some 21s right there. We got VWAP a bunch of times. If it comes back up, it comes back up. But let's start to empty out a little bit of this position and then work on our next one. There we go. We get a 27. We get a 28. Let's go, Google. This is going to be, and we talked about this when we put it on, hopefully the best trade that I can have here in the morning. I really like that 159 dip. It's on the sticky note. It's right there. We took it. Congratulations all. What up on the desk with A?
Odyssey Marine Exploration back on watch here. OMEX, the ticker for this one, trading on the NASDAQ. It's one of the big stories yesterday. Trading significantly lower throughout the day with repeated downholds. Actually, starting about 8 minutes after they announced this arbitration win in this NAFTA case. So interesting look here for OMEX today, though, up over 150%, already halted twice, currently in the middle of a halt. Lots of social media attention for OMEX, which has about a 7% short float.
Yeah, we saw that one yesterday at that dollar level, pretty key for it, but let those ones try to calm down a little bit here. 160 incoming here on Alphabet. There's a bit of a seller at the 160 level, so top of the list. Not top of the market, but certainly bouncing with the overall market. If we're going to make another move on this, I want to see it make a higher low. If you're not going to make a higher low, okay, there it is. I was just looking for the curl at the 160. If you're not going to make a higher low, this is a break of the bottom after gapping higher. You've held on to the previous close. I like that. I want to see it make a higher low to continue this trend, or you can just hold back above the 160 level. Those are a couple of ways to jump back into this trend trade. Just going to cancel. If we're not going to get exactly in front of 159, if it gets back down there again, you can always play it by ear on Alphabet. Apple's still looking like, the strongest stock like it is. It hasn't really retested VWAP since the open. I feel like this trend is looking pretty strong. If it can do a nice little consolidation off the top, VWAP sits about the $0.50, 218 and a half. If you can't get in off the break, then you got to look for the next available opportunity, which would be the first dip. So not breaking 220, I think that's a good thing if you're trying to get into the long. Maybe we can play back into VWAP, but you got to play it by ear. And then PLTR, Palantir still holding on to VWAP. I want to see this break down underneath VWAP, and then you can go stair-stepping. The other name we like to fade and had to be patient with, or wanted to be patient with, was Intel. It's nowhere near $22, but I felt this was similar to Palantir in a retracement. I want this to get into 21.8, 22 before looking the fade trade on Intel. It's green, up 0.5%. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, everybody. Let us know what you guys are into. Hopefully you've got them on right now. Apple strong, Google semi-strong. But we got to look for more to trade. There's going to be lots moving. I know there's some small caps out there, and I'm going to get to some questions. And I know some people are asking about SMCI. That's another hot one. So hit the like, hit the subscribe, share with your friends, and share the symbols that you guys are interested in here. Play patient and wait for your key levels, everybody.
Yeah, couldn't have said it any better. And I mean, that's exactly what we're doing right now. Just, I mean, again, it'll be a big day, and it's just off 2 posted free resource levels for you. Palantir down there, and we're out of pretty much, well, okay, so on Palantir, we probably have about 20% left of Palantir. We just got another piece out on Google as well at 160. So we're still going to hold out and see if we can get higher. We said we liked the fact that it was holding 160. I'm looking for up here. So let's see if we get that. It looks like the market doesn't want to go though. So that's going to be a problem child right there. Shout out to Jake Paul. Who's going to be Tyson didn't look great to me there in Dallas, so we'll see what winds up happening right there.
He's an old man.
Yeah, he needs to buy more weed, I guess, which is why he's maybe taking the fight. I have no idea. But here we go right now. He has his own strain. I think it's Toad something. I don't know what it is, but shout out to Mike Tyson for always doing big things and might be on the canvas there. Okay, so just real quick, we are into Intel. We talked about wanting to short this. Again, this is on the sticky note at 2180. I'm going to take it a little bit right now at 2170. So we're going to try the short here off the open. If the market rips, we know our limits on Intel. Yesterday, we missed the VWAP take back up to the upside. Now I'm looking at this name. Potentially not the day 2 play short that I thought it could have been because of the fact that we're up 1% against a market that's flat. So watch out now. We are short Intel. We could take it out or what, but we're going to wait to see if it comes back into 60s. Let's take a piece out for Intel. We're just chilling with Palantir. I'm probably not even going to watch it for right this second. If it does move around, we will have another look at it, of course. And then Google is dancing around 160. I'm going to put an offer around 160.50 or so. Hopefully we get that fill at some point here today. Hey, look, we're playing the long game. I mean, we're here every day putting up numbers, giving you guys trades. We talked about that. And we can just wait, right? I mean, we have our targets already. We've sort of hit like a daily sort of goal that we have for ourselves already, which is positive. So we'll just sit here, wait to see what winds up happening. If Google makes it sing, it does. Great. We are starting to pile out of some of these trades, including Palantir. We just took a new one. And there it is, Neil. Are we going to go 3 for 3 right now and all on decent sized positions as there goes Intel? I mean, Intel boom. I mean, it's right there. I hope you guys are following. I know you're looking for trade ideas and ones that can put some money in your pocket. There's 3 in a row for you. Intel, Google, and Palantir all on the board, all traded live with you. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe.
Yes, sir. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. Market's starting to come back in here. I see what's going up, and I understand a firm's going to 45 again. I'm not thinking break on 45 at all on a firm. I'm thinking fail break after what I saw the last couple of days. So we said this yesterday that it was a big-time seller at 45 even. Break, fail. It got above 1s, 2s. That's all it was. If it cannot hold a big bid and maybe break the quarters, I want to look for that curl. So I love the trade on Intel. I was just talking like I like the 2180. I'm on the offer into 80. It didn't quite tag anything above 70. If it does retrace, what I'm going to do is, because it turned at 70, you like 80, I'm canceling the more shallow offer because now if it breaks the high, likely to go even higher. So wait a little bit more if I'm not going to get that 70 fill. DJT is still testing around the lows. So obviously it's extreme the last couple of days, 15.3. I don't want to call it the absolute bottom, but 15.3 is the all-time low on DJT. I would suspect you're going to run into some resistance or support there. Google consolidating above VWAP. I think that's a good sign, but the market's started to head back in. So if we're going to be patient, I'm not getting away from the original entry point yet. I feel like that is still the spot. Wait for that 159. If we get it, great. If we don't, then the uptrend can easily continue, and then the next trade should just be the higher low, which we are already looking for. PLTR is holding steady and looking pretty solid as well. And then there was OMEX is going absolutely nuts, and I was sort of saying, let this one calm down. It hasn't stayed open for more than a couple of minutes. All it's doing is bleeding to the upside. I'm going to stay away from this. Like, you can't, it's hard to trade this unless you're actually just taking halt to halt. So until it can actually do something for more than 1 minute and then go into a halt, I think you want to let that one calm down. It's a firm that is now catching my attention because it's at the 45. Last 2 days, it has failed this level every single time, but it's broken it first. So I'm looking for a fail break on a firm. Kind of feel like that's what I should have done yesterday instead of taking 01s and getting out 90s twice.
Okay, 227. Just looking at Tesla right now, we're 15 cents in the money on Intel. We're 15 cents in the money on Palantir. 70 cents in the money on Google. But Google's trying to come back in a little bit off of that level. I mean, I may take an out here on Google. What are we doing on the futures? We're trying to bounce around here. I'd like us not to break V. I was gonna say I'd like us not to break VWAP, but we may test it. Okay, there we go. We put an offer at 78 and got filled there, so we gave up 5 or 6 cents there. Frustrating, but okay. I don't have any upside targets now. I canceled them on Google. The 200 period is always something that we'd like to see, so 160.25. I'm gonna put it right there and see if we can get an out, and then we'll have one piece left for hopefully a bigger move upside for that name. So that's what we're doing right there. Someone said on the chat, I don't know why or how you guys are short Palantir. Well, that's why we're getting out. I mean, I think Palantir has a chance to be a strong stock.
It's looking stronger now.
But as we had mentioned before, this is why this is how you maintain, your positioning, and this is how you still stay consistently in the green, and what you're looking to do is by making notes, taking trades that you had, and being a risk manager, right? I mean, like right here, if this breaks 50, we're out. And we've already taken that cash all the way down here into the 20s, and we've reloaded it multiple times. So it's kind of like that Intel trade, right? We're out of half of this trade already. So even if it goes to our sticky note level of 2180, then we don't have to worry because we've already taken that cash. Sure, it would be a losing trade if it gets down to that level, and then we have to get it all out and lose. But right now, we'll take another piece out at 58 for 12 cents. Oh, we missed it, but hopefully we can get it. Back in for, there it is. So for that 12 cents, now we have 40% left. We've got out of 60%. So we're managing risk. We're putting it in right now, and it's, and getting our money in, getting our money out, looking down and seeing green. As a prop trading, that's what you want to do. And there goes Google right now, back up to hopefully open highs is what we're looking at. This break of 160 to get up into this area. So we got a little nervous there, obviously a little premature on that one, but we're out of Intel. Well, we still have 40%. We're getting closer and closer to Palantir, and Apple still at 219. What's up, eh?
This part of the show is brought to you by Benzinga Pro. Tired of being late to the trade? Always playing catch up in the market? Missing out on the big moves because you're too slow to the news? Benzinga Pro is your unfair advantage. Get breaking news alerts up to 30 minutes before everyone else. Pinpoint exactly why stocks are moving and join a thriving community of traders who share their strategies in real time. Ready to see how Benzinga Pro can transform your trading? Visit benzinga.com/pro and get a free 14-day trial.
Right.
And the other thing you do get out of Benzinga is you get halt levels, like your stocks breaking highs of day. It's all you get more than just news stories, which is fantastic, and one of the things I like about it, because you'll get these low flow runners like OMEX halted at whatever such and such a price. So Apple did a pretty nasty wick underneath VWAP and then reversal right back up to the top. It just tried to grab this one on the upside. It was getting into a firm. A firm did make that dip off the 45, at least initially. So I'm now into it underneath 45. If it breaks that top, I got to get out of it because 45 has been the big level. But Apple holding on to VWAP, it dropped. It was a 50-cent drop and an immediate retracement back to 21.18. So I want to look for the bid in front of VWAP if we're even able to get this one on Apple. This is easily the strongest stock. The fail today for me is not actually getting into Apple. We didn't take the breakout. It happened pre-market. Unfortunately, it happened pre-market. But I want to be able to join this if we can find a way in. Apple up 1 point into a flat day. Don't want this to, if we get to 2 o'clock and we haven't had a chance to go long Apple, that will be a huge disappointment, especially if it continues this trend. And I don't want to just take a breakout of the high. 220 is too close to the top to want to break of this high of the day. Got to try to play the dip buy. Oh, Palantir came.
All right. Yeah, it's been a fun day. There's Google. Again, BPI, anybody, Neil, anybody around, man. That 159, Neil had it. That was a great level. And there it goes right there, up to 160 and a quarter. This is real trading. It's Google. It's fantastic. Palantir also is another one. So that's 3 for 3 today, all bangers. And look at this reload, man. I mean, this is exactly what we're talking about as you sit here on Fed Day. Let's just put money in our pocket for right now. Trade away, right? Go enjoy it. I'll call the wife after this. It'll be 11 o'clock. It'll be a gorgeous day. We'll go for a walk. We've hit our goal. We've given you guys hopefully the entertainment. It's been fantastic. News stories developing. Coming into work is gorgeous every day, man. I love coming in here and putting these on for you. I love doing the sticky note. Love being here trading. Love putting on winners. Love talking about all these names. Loving Intel. We talk about the Intel whisperer, right? We give ourselves lots of names. Look at Intel all the way down in here into VWAP. Let's wait to see what happens there. And again, this is another name that it's like we posted this trade up. You know, we posted this up at 21.80. So of course, when it goes to 74s and 70s, we're taking that short, right? I mean, this is the stuff that we're doing. This is why I enjoy coming in. Even if the sticky note is horribly wrong, which you can go look. I mean, this posted literally every single day. Here's Intel, 2180. Fade the pops. Fade the 200 period. Google, 159 long. That's a graduation trade for anybody. Palantir, 36.50 short. You want 10 cents? You want 20 cents? Apple, we did that little rhyme, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. The problem is it breaks 217 in the pre-market and we weren't smart enough to take 217, 20 or 30 off the open. Now, the next trade is good luck, FOMC. Now let's wait to see what happens with the NASDAQ. I mean, this is what we're doing. We're doing this every day. We come in and we're hopefully putting something on for you. Google, we got a piece out. We only have 10% left. That was, or way less than that, sorry, 5% left on Google as I look at what we're doing. Intel, bang. All the way back down to the 200 or the 50 period right now. Let's see if we can get a 200 fill. And then Palantir, we just getting light, man. We just getting light. This is the one that's making me the most nervous. We can cash out of this one. We'll have made more money on Palantir than we will on Intel. And Google is by far and away going to be something special for me today. So we'll just wait to see what happens with Palantir. Maybe we'll just empty it all out right now if I don't like it.
Yeah, watch out. I mean, Palantir, but it's just a wall at 50, but it's not that much size. It's relatively 15 times the size of any level, but compared to what you usually see at a stack level on Palantir, it'll chew through that like a hot knife through butter. If 50 breaks, then got to get out of it here. Gonna just put a trail on DJT. DJT is now continuing. It's now 3% down. Remember, all-time low is 15.3 on this stock. All it's doing is flushing in here. But if you look at, just go back a couple of days, and it had 15.65 as a higher low. If it gets back above that price, I want to short back into VWAP on it. So I'm going to kill the 16 even stop, or not kill it, but cancel it, and then put a trailing stop in through that 65 level. That's going to be the big one. And then Apple, I mean, there isn't too much to say about Apple. It's super strong. It's now putting in a bit of a lower high. So I don't like a selling that's going on in here. I was trying to get it on the way back up. So down, and then I want it on the way back into the upside. If we're able to catch that, then I want to look for something like, you know, the VWAP hold on Apple. But you look at these wicks, there's still a lot of whipsaw action here. There's plenty of time for it to settle. I like to see the opening range in the first half an hour. So in about 2 minutes, we'll get that at 10 o'clock. And if we're still holding on to VWAP, I'm going to like that even better here on Apple. Don't want to rush into this. I feel like the best opportunity has come and gone on Apple, and it's easy to get that FOMO, chase the move, and then end up with a bad price. So I'm not going to do that here on Apple. There's the break of Palantir at 50, so I'm out when it takes out the 50 level.
Yeah, fail on that 50 level right there. And this is how you continue to be positive on a stock, right? We talked about what we were nervous on. We just got out of pretty much everything on Palantir at 41.42. We did it live for you guys right there on the air. There's 3 fills right there. We take out our last 10% on that break. Now, the fact that we got out there, green name, we talk about this all the time. This is how you stay positive. You have your risk spots, you have your stops, you trade with bigger shares and take advantage of when the trade is there, right? And then you look back and it's like, okay, even on Intel, we only now have 10% left of Intel. Intel broke back above VWAP there, so we took more out. I mean, these are all out at VWAP. I better make sure I don't have any more bids. I have a bid at 41. We just want to see if this thing can crash in right now and give it to us. So let's wait to see now with Intel. Nice move back in. It's going to be a 3-for-3 kind of day. Google is making me a little nervous because it's just hanging out. We already have that top there at the 200 period. Looks like it wants to fade back in. This is about 3 to 4% left of the position that we had. I didn't realize how many. Well, I did realize, but when calculating it, we took a lot of shares down here, so that's why what we have left is minuscule amounts. So hopefully that will work out. Yeah, we'll slap a fail, obviously. Well, we're up on Palantir, but we'll slap a fail on that one because it did break, and that's fine. We had written down on Palantir that we actually liked this 3650, so we took it 3 or 4 times, and it's higher. I mean, look, I made more money on Palantir than we did on Intel. And here comes Intel. Oh, I was bidding 41s and I just canceled it, waiting for this move, but that's okay. Let's go somewhere else, baby. All right, yeah, Tesla, you can hold that Palantir until it breaks that high. Whoever's that's in the chat. What's up, Oscarito? For sure. You can see Neil and I will trade names differently.
Tesla.
And you guys can trade them differently as well. And just at the end of the day, you can always ask, what stocks we're looking at, why we're looking at them, what our breakout levels are and stuff like that. And right there, okay, so there's Tesla, 230.50. Nice movement today. This has been a very, very violent name, obviously with a huge move to the upside to 231.50. Then a fall back in $4, right? Straight down to the downside into 227. So I guess 350 or 450 downside move, and now you're starting to crack lower. So it's a good thing we still have on that Intel, because Intel right now is going, baby. And there's the short. I've been sort of weak on tweeting all these out. You guys can clearly see what we have. I'll post out all these trades for you guys. Follow me at TraderTV Sean, and they just match with the sticky notes. So let's go over to Adara for happening now.
We're about 4 hours away from the moment the markets have been waiting for. That is a highly expected rate cut here at the September FOMC meeting. We'll get that at 2 p.m. Then we'll get comments from Fed Chair Powell at around 2:30. The market waiting here for that news. S&P 500 and NASDAQ both virtually flat in the day. NASDAQ slightly stronger, though, than the SPY as of right now. Some individual names to look at as we wait for that rate decision include Meta. This one right now slightly positive on the day, but on watch here after the Financial Times reported that the company is set to face pretty intense EU antitrust fine with regards to its ad practices. We also have Palantir. This one reversing here from down about 1% to now up about 0.25% so far today. CEO Alex Karp selling around $300 million worth of company shares according to SEC filings. And last but not least, we have SMCI here up almost 4% right now in the day, getting a buy rating and a $600 price target from Needham. Lots to keep an eye out for, guys.
Yeah, lots to keep. I mean, SMCI is making some power moves. It's distinctly different from some of the other chip names in there. So the trail just came out on DJT. I do want to stay net short just based on the way that this is traded. The last couple of sessions, I only want to short off of previous resistance levels. Like every single pop is an opportunity, I think, to be able to get in. So VWAP sits at 1590-ish. If we get back into VWAP, then I want to play that one into the short side. It's been trending down for a couple of days in a row. SMCI is, like I said, distinctly different from a lot of the other chip names. Like when I look at this, it's up 4%. You go over to something like an NVIDIA, cannot seem to even break the high. So the target that I was looking for the short on NVIDIA has not come in. That's 116.75, pivot point from yesterday. But we are trending up. So giving it time to get there does make sense. Don't want to compromise on price at this point. It's a V-shaped recovery, sort of, on NVIDIA, where you held the low, you're making the higher lows. If it takes out the top, then a test of that level should be forthcoming. Apple just seems to want those highs over and over and over again. So Apple not really giving the dip into VWAP the second time through. But when you look at this market, it's threatening to go red. We'll just put in a lower high off the open. If we end up taking out that bottom, you're really going to want to have been patient over there on Apple. And I still feel like the key level on Google should remain the key level. It's kind of losing VWAP in here. So just patiently waiting for this 159 to get tested one more time here on Alphabet. That's another one. Will be red to green or green to red if it loses that 159 third. So let's look for the dip buy at the best price possible if we're even going to get it. So can't get into Apple just yet. Tesla, I don't think I see a trade there for myself. And NVIDIA, if you're waiting for it to get to the top, it's about $1.30 from resistance for me. So if it bounces VWAP, just have to wait for it.
All right, we've the only thing that we're really debating, we're going to hold on to Google if we can. It's not a huge spot. I'll show you where I just put my stop in a second. I wonder about Intel. I mean, the market could be pretty flat. We're right at this level right now. I'm debating just punching out if it breaks above 21.45. So we could do that. Why don't we just set our stop there? It's a small piece, 21.46 for that one. We'll punch out if it goes there. Huge trade for Intel, huge. All three of these trades today, big. So I'm not actually looking to do much else. We'll find some trades if possible. NVIDIA 116.50 is for me a short. If we can get up to there, that would be something that we'd look at. Although the market, again, and NVIDIA pretty much lockstep right now, trying to battle itself out here and figure out if we want to go higher or lower. Google, my stop was right here. It's pretty easy, right? We just bounced off 159.60. So we break 159.60, we're out of Google. But this trade just keeps on working. It's just we're not heavy into it, so we can wait on that one. Trying to find some more ideas. What else we wrote down on here was the TQ short. Well, the market hasn't panicked yet, so we don't have to worry about that. Intel short, Google long, Palantir short, and Apple long. So yeah, man, I mean, I trade with too many shares in order just to go around and just be throwing money around on random levels, honestly. This is the one thing that I've realized. You have to be really smart when you're doing this and try to find plays that you believe in and that are the best ones for you. So I'm just going to keep on searching for them. The one name that I'm looking at right now, though, is Amazon. And we don't have to, when we talk about trading bigger shares, it's your option. You can do whatever you want. I just, to put on, like, I don't want to put on 50 shares of Amazon right here. Like, I'd rather wait for it to do something. And right now, we're actually at a level, the 200 period moving average, where I could see fading this Amazon trade. Amazon right now is up on the day, but barely. It just made a huge move up into a nice level. So we might have just talked ourselves out of this trade and missed it by a little bit. But Amazon up there at 187 is what I was going to talk about, shorting it, and we just fell 25 cents. So whatever, man, we don't have it on. We're 80 cents in the money on Google. We're 40 cents in on the money on Intel. Our net's at the highest spot we've ever been at today, and not ever. And we are waiting and just missed that Amazon trade because we couldn't shut up. So that was a spot right there of 187 that I think is worth looking into for Amazon if we get back up there. So we'll figure that out. Thank you, Coffee Trader, for that. I might be one of the best traders you've ever seen. You are one of the best subscribers I've ever seen, along with everybody else that's in chat, because more people get into chat, give us these ideas. I mean, sometimes it's like I look over, it's like, oh yeah, I missed that trade. There was a couple of examples yesterday where I was like, dude, it's right at your level, or you've been talking about this. Happens to all of us.
That's the worst.
And then, yeah, so we appreciate everybody's help in identifying and helping us get better. I still got to buy Take-Two, man, because I need to get that stock before GT, Grand Theft Auto 6,
yeah, GT.
Right? It's 10 years from
What
now.
do you say? 10 years? Apple just broke the high of the day. That's the one. The one that got away is going to be Apple. So obviously you just kind of had to have that one off the open. It's going to get to 220 at this particular point. I think like seems like it's almost inevitable. I'm looking over, and a lot of people have talked about ARM. ARM got an upgrade. It was actually it was the top on our list of upgrades when it was delivered by Sharif and Adara, made by Sharif, and then Adara delivered it for us. 141.5 on ARM. I mean, I preferred shorting. Like, my plan was to short a pop on NVIDIA, not ARM. But it's a similar level. I'm not going to take ARM short at that level. I kind of feel like ARM breaking out above there would be a huge move. Wow, and when it's up 2.5 points, when ARM is screaming and it's higher than the rest of the chip names, I generally speaking do not want to stand in front of it. Like, NVIDIA just lost VWAP and feels like it's going to be the short one. I'm not rushing into this. It's nowhere near that resistance point just yet. At this moment, DJT is kind of climbing back up, so I want to wait for an opportunity to short into that one. But NVIDIA looking weak, ARM looking very, very, very strong at this particular point. I still think that Google should be a re-entry. It did dip and hold VWAP. It's still resistance at $160. You're seeing that happen in here. It's got the opening range set on it now, and you've got a bit of a higher low. So at 10 o'clock, we made the higher low at 159.65. So I can start to look off of that and see if we can hold on to the trend here on Alphabet. So a retest coming in as the market's going down. Would have been nice if we could have got that pop and fade on NVIDIA. I was looking for anything else that set up for a short that I liked. One of the other ones was Mara, but Mara nowhere near resistance for me. I wanted to look at the 16 area. As long as we're not breaking 60,000, been looking to short pops on Mara. There wasn't really much of a pop. It's weird. Mara hasn't even moved at all this morning. So I feel like that's a bit of a nothing burger. They're just going to have to wait for Google reentry, I think, or at least DJT. Go right back to square one. The first two things that we liked should be the next two things that we get.
I laugh because, I mean, Intel right now is 45 cents in the money and just going to the downside right now. I might just get out of this name. But if the market keeps on coming in, I mean, so will Intel, right? It already had its day. And if you didn't get out there, I honestly, I don't know. I don't know the next time. What's the reason for it to get back up here? We'll wait. I mean, they've had some good news. Nice move down there for Intel. Yeah, let's just get out now if it takes 32s. Honestly, this has been quite the trade, although we only have 10% left. Glad that we have it, obviously, and let's just put an out right there if it breaks it back above. We'll just take, I mean, this has dropped a little further than we had thought right there to begin with. So good opportunity there for us to watch out for Intel and get out, honestly, if it comes back up. Missed opportunity, we just talked about it there with Amazon. We were very, very patient looking for trades there, and we found one, and we talked about it, and then it went. So that's a missed opportunity right there for Amazon. I'm only looking short now. Which is why my Google, oh, there we go, Intel came out. Google's probably going to come out right now on a 50 break, a 60 break lower. We should have probably respected that top again, but it looked like the market wanted to go and it didn't, so that's fine. So I'm going to give back about not even 1% of my day right there from getting out of Intel right here. And then right now by holding 2 or 3% of this Google trade, it's nothing. So we got lucky enough to get a lot. Unfortunately, we didn't make it the maximum on this, obviously. We got a lot out here at 60s, 70s, some out here 80s and 90s, and then that was a good take. If we ever go from bottom to the 50 period, that's sort of where my mind goes whenever we're talking about trades. So that's a level there that we always have to watch out for. Yeah, look, I understand what you're saying there, someone in the chat.
Palantir
about Palantir. Thing is, I've already cashed out on this stock, man. And right now I don't like the stock. You know, I love the stock, but for trading right now, I mean,
it's holding VWAP trending up right now.
Yo, Andre, man, let's give a little bit. Right now, we'll get it woken up if you guys want to, right there for Palantir. So we'll hit that in a minute and get it going. You know what, Fabian, send me the code for it anyways, because I do like it. So we'll get that going there and I don't have to bother you. There we go. Come on, man, do something. So we'll wait to see here if Palantir wakes up a little bit. It may not do anything. And if it doesn't, then we can stay away. Like I said, we've already hit the day goal. We're already where we need to be. That happened like 20 minutes ago. We've been sort of looking for better opportunities. Feel like we found one on Amazon and we missed it. So now we just have to wait and look for better opportunities, right? I mean, oil's coming at 10:30. So we could look at wow, look at this miss on Amazon. So we could look at XOM, we could look at Occidental making moves. Wow, Amazon. That is.
Whoa, market just did a dump.
Yeah, that is a little bit of a fail right there. See, this is why we're flat. We've hit our levels. We have 0 LFT, and all is well. And just by getting out there on Google, I save yourself a little bit of money there because there's the breakdown to 40s. So that's a slippery slope there for Google. Let's wait to see what happens now. The market's starting to head lower. We can maybe relook at our TQQs and start the little short trade going on here soon.
Yeah, NASDAQ just wicked the absolute bottom. I was just, I don't think Randy's in, but I was going to ask.
Randy is not in.
If Rob would be able to do it. Look, NVIDIA bouncing 115. If I want to be shorted and it's not going to be our level, I guess 16 or VWAP is going to be that. But if I'm saying I guess, then I don't think that's going to be good enough. Intel, I should cancel. I already did cancel the orders at 80s. But if it's going to be a trend down, I didn't get it up here at that 2180, but I think a fade back into VWAP. If something is in your plan for short and it goes down, then you want to be able to join that trend. And if I think we can trend it to 2 o'clock, then you should just try to be shorting weak stocks. And if you want to go long when the market comes down, find a strong stock that's giving you higher lows. That would be Apple, which is allergic to VWAP as the market just dumped there. But Intel holding on to a bit of a flat bottom break here at 21.25, at least for now. I don't think that's going to happen forever. If it loses 20, this could really start to dump. I want to give it a chance to get into VWAP and give us a little bit of a short to pop. Apple market breaks the lows, Apple breaks the highs. That's how you know that Apple is the one today. Like, it's no question. There's no question about like what's the alpha here in the market. It's going to be Apple. It's up 1.4%. I understand SMCI is a higher percentage. I'm talking about the bigger cap names. There still isn't even a green candle on that 15-minute, and it's on a collision course with this $220 level. Because I'm looking for things to fade, Apple is not one of them. It's just not going to happen on Apple. Apple needs to be in the 222 to 223 range before I'm thinking about a fade in this stock. Way too strong here to try to fight that. Let's just wait for Intel to try to make some kind of a pop, which I think it will. Intel will catch some kind of a bid, and then you're able to short the pop. I think DJT will do the same, and once it does, I'm going to oblige it by looking for the short. What is APLD?
Oh, that's been.
That was
watch this. Yeah, that's applied something. Yeah, that's been there for a minute.
Hold on a second. I want to double check. I've seen a few people asking about Applied Digital here. 17% short float. It is trying to break out an even dollar level, which looks interesting. But there's a couple of other names that are moving a little bit more. It's APLT is the one. So this is moving. I don't wonder if this is just only up. APLD is maybe up that 3 points and breaking because APLT is the actual stock going. So if you're trading these, it's APLT that is the big runner. APLD is a completely unrelated symbol that I think is getting a sympathy bounce. And usually if that happens, it's a pretty big fade. So I wouldn't touch that APLD. It's APLT that is running. Applied Therapeutics just broke a $6 level, and it's pretty much almost blue sky setup. Watch out for $9. Go all the way back to February of this year, and you've got $9 that looks like a pretty big resistance level. So yeah, definitely a big move by APLT, not D.
Right. Yeah, I knew that name was a familiar one. So, all right.
I've seen that happen before where, like, the sympathy stock, it goes up and people think they're in the right one, and all of a sudden, like, it gets dumped right back into the low. There's no reason for APLD to be up.
No, exactly. Yeah, we want to trade catalysts. And I don't know if there's a catalyst or not here on Amazon today. I mean, it's red. The market is flat. I just tried to short it there again on that pop-up and missed it. We are going to be waiting. I was waiting for O's. It went to 85s and stopped. So I think I'm now at 79s. We'll wait for 187. And then honestly, you see that 187 O's there, maybe even 187. Like, we don't want to completely layer into this one too much, but 187.20, I feel pretty comfortable getting out if indeed that is a trade for us. I'll put on something light right now just to get the party started at 75, but it looks like we might have missed that as well. I mean, who knows? Hopefully we just go back and forth and back and forth. We already talked about Palantir. We wanted that one to wake up. Oh man, what a miss again on Apple, on Amazon. Okay, all right. We talked about, I know Neil's been in a firm. We can have a quick look at that one as well. As that, I mean, again, took that 40, did it take 45 today?
Had to.
Yeah, 45.02, the long. That's where you were. You
What? No, it didn't. You know what? It didn't break long, 45. Right?
Yeah,
long.
45.
No, I'm not looking long today.
Oh, you were in a firm though.
It didn't break 45. Oh, slap to fail. What? I misplaced my stop. I was wondering why it was such a small move.
You went short first.
Yeah, I went short at 45.
It broke 02. It got to 02. I mean, that's where you go. Is like, your stops are so important, man. Like, you know, you gotta.
You know, it did this yesterday.
I know, and that's what I'm saying. Sometimes you get stopped out.
So yesterday on a firm at 45, I was long twice with stop. First time the stop was at 1s, and I got long evens. Second time the stop was at 2, and I got long 01. So, like, it was just wicking the dark pools. It did the same thing up at the top here. There's just sellers at 45 even. That's all. But they're breaking it with dark pools. They're running stops, and then nothing prints above the obvious level except for, like, a dark pool print at the half point, and then that gets you out. One way to avoid that is to maybe set your stop for 10 or 05 on the other side of it. But a firm is certainly heading back in. Maybe VWAP will be a retracement short. This is what it did yesterday. Same crest. Apple just dipped off 220. So anyone looking for Apple, if you're looking for the dip on Apple, it just got to 220. I said I wasn't going to short that level. It's been holding on to VWAP. This is probably your best chance to at least dip into VWAP here for AAPL. Starting to come off a little bit more heavily with the market. It had to get to a big resistance spot, I think, before it was going to get into the downside here on Apple. So patience would require waiting another 50 pennies to get into 219.
In 1 second, I'll get it all set up for you guys in 1 minute. But all right, so we do miss that Amazon trade right there. Hopefully that will come in 1 second. Just getting locked and loaded here. So, yep, we are almost ready to go, but not yet. For this, not yet. There's Trade the Pool. What's up, Trade the Pool? If you are interested, everybody, in becoming a funded trader, you can join my friends, your friends, all of our friends at tradethepool.com. You can complete an evaluation by hitting profit targets. Very, very simple. Very similar to every prop firm. Once you hit those targets and prove yourself, like we're trying to do here in front of you every single day, you will be able to trade up to $260,000 of firm capital. And guess what? You keep an amazing up to 80% profits while the firm covers the risk. It is the perfect way to trade with big shares and not risk your own capital. Please, guys, hit that QR code on your screen right there. Get funded today. Join Trade the Pool. Scan that QR. Hit the link in the description. We want to thank Trade the Pool once again for sponsoring the stream. All right, so that's affirmed. Thank you, Trade the Pool, one more time. As we had the gentleman on yesterday. Time flies.
Wait, yesterday?
Was it yesterday or was it 2 days ago? It was yesterday,
Wow.
says Adara. So yeah, we have to trust Adara, the smartest one around here.
Yeah, I mean, I forgot.
All right, so there we go. Thank you, Adara, for that one. All right, man, patience is very, very key. We do miss Amazon, but hey, we're fine to miss these. When you're 3 for 3 and where you need to be, you know, a little bit of a rhyme there, then you're chilling. So right now we're chilling. We're waiting for Amazon. We just missed that pop. Hopefully it will come back in, man. Palantir not doing anything. We talked about that one. Again, would like to see this wake up a little bit. It's trying to go lower. I'm not interested on this name. Just hovering around VWAP. We will do a hardcore pass on that. Broadcom is moving around. I'm seeing right now 163 and change. This is a good name. The only problem is spread. A little bit spready here. You got about 20 cents once it opens up. Maybe even more than that. I'd rather, again, I thought it was moving around more than it was. It's not, actually. I'd rather buy anything at the 200 period or fade anything at the high of the day right now. Broadcom is neither of those things. So
Intel just flat bottom broke.
Intel was a monster and we let it go.
No break. No break fill for me, though. But it's already 10:20, which does mean there's already a few of them going. Let's see what other small caps might be in line to move and give us maybe opportunities. Let's go, Adara. Give us a small cap recap.
As Neil just hinted at there are a lot of small caps today. This is not going to be an exhaustive list, but there are quite a few we can talk about here. Also worth noting here, IWM, a bit of a change of tune. This one's been strong to start over the last few days. Right now, actually down in the day and near day's lows. So Russell 2000 a little bit weak here, but lots of strength in some of these small caps. This one was just mentioned here, but Applied Therapeutics, APLT. This one has an 8.5% short float. It's run in the past, basically announcing here that the FDA has said that they're no longer going to need an advisory committee meeting with regards to APLT's brain or neurological disorder drugs. Interesting look here for APLT. We also have here LUNR. This is another one that's run in the past. Intuitive Machines getting a contract valued up to $4.82 billion here from NASA. 10% short float as well to note here for this one. And last but not least, PRTG. This company is called Portage, up more than 200%. No catalyst that I could see in this one, but it has run in the past. We've got a float of about 667,000 shares. 4.5% of those are going to be sold short and a market cap of just under $5 million. Lots of other names to talk about, though, guys. That's just a quick list.
Yeah, PRTG Portage there, which if you're, my family's into that kind of stuff. Although, yeah, that's real camping if you do like the Portage, because then you got to get into you got to canoe to your campsite, which is legit. But PRTG looks pretty interesting here because it's got the halt price upside, 1365, and it's holding on to the line pretty decently in the uptrend trend. So if it can just, get that bump, hold on to the halt at 1365, take out the top, and then you can throw a stop at the halt. That would look good. Slowing down in volume, but what isn't going to be slowing down in volume at this time of day? So that sets up looking like the one. Alphabet going right back in that previous close. Now, previous close, it did bounce off of this level, but it did go all the way down into 159.10. So I think giving it to this 159 as the market's starting to come back in is going to make some sense. So I'm going to get back on the bid again, just sort of waiting for it to get back to our price level here on Alpha. But that portage looks interesting. But that halt price is the key level I want to work off of. You saw that heartbeat back and forth. Needs to hold above to even think about the breakout long. But if we're going to have a Fed day slowdown, some small cappers could be the way to go in the late morning and early afternoon here. So Google trying to get down to 159 even. Doesn't want to seem to get in the 20s. I'm waiting at 20. I want to see if we can get a little tighter off that low of the day. And a bit of a bounce here in Intel. Intel might let us back in, or let me in, if we can get a bit of a pop. I want to get back into the pre-market lows there.
Okay, as per usual, today, we're into Google. We'll take out a third for an amazing 13 cents. Right there. And we're just, honestly, we're just doing something like this. We're trying to stack up some wins. If Google comes in and breaks 159, we're out. We're not. I'm going to trade this with like maybe 15% of the shares we had right here. And that's going to be my biggest position. So we're going to go super light on this, and you can always ask us about our position sizing, how we think about it, if we're loading up into a stock or anything like that. You can always do that, and I'm here to tell you. I told you when this was here, this was a big position, and now we'll try it. If it comes back up, great. We're going to try to wait for VWAP again. That's 74, 75. Now that we've gotten some out for 10 cents, I'm going to try buy some more down here at 20. Then if we break 159, then we're just going to get out of it. I think it's a pretty easy day trade for us on that one. I'm actually going to cancel right now my Amazon. If that comes in, great. We'll relook at that. I just don't want to be sitting here in case the market really gets going. Then we will cancel that. But that Amazon was once and twice missed for sure. Shout out to everybody that is a member of Sticky Note Nation. Today, that one had Intel right here at this price. We had 2180s listed down there. It gets to 2170. Good enough, man. Boom to the downside. We had more shares waiting. Like this was 2 more pennies up, and we would have had, vacation time. But right now, downside move for Intel. We're out of it too early. It broke to 200. I put a stop in there. It trailed it out into that low. I was thinking that like 24, 25 would have been something there. So we do get out to see what winds up happening. 21 and change on that. I am nervous about Google, so we'll buy some more downside into the teens. I don't want to get any more earlier than that. We've already taken some out. We'll wait to see what's going on right now. So thank you, Danielle. I mean, that's what I just mentioned to you. It'll be about 15% of that position right there because I'm not in love with the long. How could you be? The market's heading to the downside. The other long that I do want to take, though, if it comes in, was Apple. Apple just bounced off of the 50-period moving average and now looks to take 220. I think it's just a break long of 220 now. So watch out for Apple. Looks like it wants to do it as we speak. No idea. Thank you, Brendan, for that one there. Brendan, he was going to, I asked Rob for it. Then the price got a little too expensive. So Brendan went and grabbed it himself. So I do like that. All right. So Google, we're still on that one. Apple looks like it wants to break.
It just broke.
See, again, less talking, more taking. There goes Apple.
Yeah, Apple with the break of the high of the day there. 220 is now come and gone on that. So it's in the clear. I was actually just scrambling to get a stop order in there, but it gave you a bit of a dip. I got 11s on a just posted bid there. So Apple's clearly the strongest name in the market. 50 period is going to be the biggest resistance level if we continue this trend. And 222, 222 is going to stick out like a sore thumb, but there still isn't a red candle on the 15-minute of Apple. Not since 8 a.m. 8 a.m. was the last time this thing had a red candle. No, it's just distinctly different. The market is literally at the lows, and Apple just continues to go higher and higher and higher, up 1.6%. I guess that iPhone demand is absolutely okay. I'm not saying it gets to 222, but I'm not thinking this is a level where if we're in front of the Fed and it gets to there, it's an obvious out to me. Like you have a bit of a gap fill into 222 on AAPL, just screaming to the upside while everything else is looking weak. I just thought Intel was about to give you a move up as much as I thought this was going to be a big one. It just went 10, 15 cents. This might be the only way that we can grab this. It will be to short it off of this pre-market low. But I do want to short this pop on INTC while Apple flies.
So again, a little bit of a different strategy, right? I'll take, 5 or so times the shares and just scalp it out. So that's what we're doing, and then we'll wait to see what happens now to the upside. So I'm starting to scalp out a little bit here of Apple. It's only 20 cents in the money. We're long as well at 11s, and that was panic, man. Brendan came there, delivered the goods. Apple breaks. We both punch in. I think we get good levels, so let's wait to see here if these are good levels for Apple. 2020 right now on watch for AAPL. So that's where we're long. We're long at 2011s. Nice move up. I'm waiting at 39s to get another piece out. Did we get that 39? No, we did not. Wow, cleared 38s, not 39s. We'll have to watch out for Apple. Google, there it is. Yes, sir. Is that Google just got filled? Yes, bang. That's a nice move right there. So here we go, man. Keep on trucking to the upside right now, Apple. We said we'd wait for the best opportunities. Believe we found that right there with that 220 break. It's Apple. It's fantastic. And it just keeps on going higher, baby. What a day, what a day, what a day. We're up more than we were yesterday at this time. We're at the high of the day. We've had 4 for 4.
SOUN halt.
SOUN halt.
No, never
Apple.
mind. Not yet.
Not halted. Apple, Google, Intel, Palantir. It's 4 for 4 as we wait now for the Fed. Thank you, Patrick. Much love back there for you as well. All right, she's somewhere, and I believe, are we ready yet? We have oil coming out right now as well. Let's go see what Miss A is up to. Wow, Apple right now is absolutely mooning. This is what we talk about, man. This is what we do. Take more shares, piece it out, and still have a piece for the dream, because here goes Apple up into 76 right now. We'll take another piece out for this one. That's 60 cents as fast as you can see it. Upside there for Apple. Adara, here we go.
We get these oil numbers just coming in here. EIA crude oil inventories negative 1.63 million versus expected negative 0.01 million. So that was what we got here from the main number here. Crude oil inventories. Also, we got the EIA gasoline and distillate inventories also lower here than what was expected. Some updates here to the ongoing FTX saga on the legal side of things. Yesterday, we had Prager Metis, which was the auditor here of FTX, settling with $745,000 fine here with regards to these SEC charges. Basically, the SEC had alleged that they were not qualified and didn't know enough about crypto to be auditing FTX, especially with its connection there to Alameda Research. Also, interestingly enough, worth noting here, we have Caroline Ellison set to be sentenced next Tuesday, September 24th. Yesterday as well, we had some court appearances there saying that her sentence should be lighter. So interesting look there for this FTX case. In terms of Bitcoin itself, right back below that $60,000 level after a pretty strong bullish engulfing candle yesterday, engulfing almost all of the last 3 days of sell-off previously. Let's see how BTC reacts to that FOMC decision. From what I'm seeing as of right now, overwhelmingly, we have analysts expecting a 25 basis point cut. We'll have to wait and find out what happens in just about 3.5 hours. Bitcoin down almost 1% right now. Ethereum, which is holding on to 2,300 earlier today, just slipping below that level, down about 2%. Generally weak for a lot of these other crypto-related names. Solana down about 4%, Ripple down almost 4% here, Cardano down about 3%, Avalanche down by 5%. We'll have to see how this all shakes out as we await that FOMC meeting, guys.
Yeah, so I feel like, Almeida. When you use the name Almeida, the shadiest, or Almeida, doesn't matter, the shadiest character on, one of the shadiest on 24, not a good look. You're running into resistance on Apple at 221 here. Like it just ticked up there. On a 15-minute, there's no red. There was plenty of red candles on the 3-minute chart, but it's still trending in. I want to get out in front of 221. And the other thing that happened while we were just about going is the first available pop on Intel. When it broke, here's the flat bottom break. It wicked up to 2130, made a fresh low, resistance at 2130, short 28, play into the low of the day on Apple. On Intel. That one's still trending into the downside. Apple's still trending into the upside. We haven't been able to get back into DJT, unfortunately. It's not really moving all that much. That's not a halt, but it did not get back into VWAP. It's now just going sideways. So a bit of sideways action on DJT that's continuing to fall. I wanted to be able to short the pop over there in this symbol. Only want to look short here. It would have to break out pre-market highs to convince me that it's anything but a short to pop situation on DJT. So Apple's the one that's strong. NVIDIA still going to have eyeballs on this if it loses the low, but we're not going to get that short off the highs at 116 and 75. I'm going to leave that in because I think that can be like a Fed actionable level in here. That was not yesterday's close, but yesterday's pivot point. I think our best chance to be able to trade that level might just come at 2 o'clock on NVIDIA. It was part of the trade plan, but it never got close to it, so we didn't trade it.
Okay. All right. Let's just let's look through some. Let's look through some names, right? I mean, we could have a quick look here. Let's look at the watch list that we have here. 52-week highs, moving averages, all that kind of stuff. This is brought to you by ICE. These charts that I look at, anyways, are going to be e-signal charts. So Apple, let's just sort it by percent change rate here. So let's see. So these are the names that are up. I'm going to switch it over and look for the names that are down. These are the names that I chart. Oracle right now, down. So we're going to zoom back out. We've got to look at this chart. So right here, Oracle, it'll say it right here. So Oracle right now under the 5th. Thanks for that though, Fabian. That was kind of cool. I was like, is that on Neil's screen? What screen is that? Okay, 165 right there. That's where VWAP is on Oracle heading to the low side. This could be a good break trade too at 164.50. So or CL. Again, it won't change on this screen. It's just going to change right here on these charts. Oracle right there, 164.50 looking like a good break spot. We've already absolutely Intel. So we'll wait for Intel. I mean, there it is right there. If we can get back up to 2140, that is the 50 period, or that is VWAP. We like that. 50 period a little bit lighter than that at 2133. That could be a trade. AMD, we've looked at that. DraftKings, let's look at Donkey Kong. Up to 39. I like that stock. I like the fact that it's holding the 200 period. I think, again, probably a short, but we need to get to the 50 period. So $39 for DraftKings would be a decent spot there. JP Morgan, really like the battle back. Didn't appreciate him talking about social media, wasting all that time. I think it's probably put a couple $100 million in his pocket personally, just Meta and all those stocks for his company, JP Morgan. And of course, probably one of the largest shareholders would be Jamie Dimon. So right there, 208 and change. I like that short if we get back up to the 200 and or VWAP of 208 for JP Morgan. Some talk about IBIT. Let's just have a quick look at that just to show you this is what I do when you guys are asking or looking for stocks. I have charts up here, and I'm just looking for different names with different opportunities. IBIT downside. Bitcoin broke back down through 60,000. So it's trying. This is actually a great little level right here. Forget about Bitcoin. I don't need to look at it because the price of it is sort of irrelevant. You just want to trade action. So right there, 33.75. I mean, if you break below that, I think this is an actionable trade here for IBIT. So that's going to maybe be something for me on this break. 33.73. So I think I might have found something right here. And by the way, Apple just continues to be that thing. It's that dude right now. Apple, we're still holding that long. Apple at high a day. We already took one piece out right now. And here it goes, Neil. We're going to join the club, hopefully, with Apple. $1. Isn't my birthday today? $1 in the money right now on Apple as it continues to go higher. So there we go. Watch out. 221 rejection. I mean, we could get it out here, but why?
It's all about your plan of action, right? So for myself, I know I'm always get that even dollar move to the even dollar move. I didn't want to be taking a breakout, but that's the only trade we had. So I feel like it's a little bit top heavy. I got out when it just tapped that 220. But the best thing about trading is you can trade it any way you want. Like, have your own style. And as long as you have a plan of action, understand how the market moves and try to develop it, that's the right way to go about it. Speaking of the right way to go about it, if you're in Canada, it's back. Real Trading has the campus program, a free trading experience. So if you're in Canada and you're interested in learning how to trade, trading in a professional platform, trading with a quality execution plan, and with a sound understanding of the markets, I think this program's for you. It is absolutely free. I want to get that off the bat. Absolutely free. It is a full-fledged program where you learn from the basics, market introduction, in class for a couple of days. Then you get to learn P Pro 8, which is a trading platform that we trade here. Everyone live on the show, everyone behind us trades in P Pro 8. Great platform. After a couple of weeks, you get to go into the simulator. You're going to trade a few names, get one-on-one coaching the entire way through to develop your trading plan. At the end of that program, you get a certificate and then get to go live, trade real money for real profits. At this point, you got to look at 16 hours a week of trading. So you don't actually have to be a student, even though it's called a campus program, but it is something you can do part-time. You got to put in that 16 hours during the week, but you're able to have another side gig, job, whatever it might be. You could be in school as well while you do this. You're still going to get the one-on-one coaching. Your objective is to become a funded trader. You hit the targets and you can become a funded trader at the end of the campus program. So scan the QR code you see there if you're interested. Also check the link in the description of this stream for Real Trading's campus program. Trading is going to be hard enough without a good platform and a good idea of how to begin and then how to continue your trading career. I think it's a great program that everyone can take advantage of. And there's so many things out there to trade. Speaking of which, Alphabet is holding the line, literally. The previous close line is being held here in Alphabet. I was waiting for 159. It now doesn't seem like it wants to get there, so this just might be the higher low that we're looking for. I'm going to see if I can't get something here. I was waiting for 159.20. That's where my bid was. I've since canceled that bid. And I'm going to look to catch this higher low on Alphabet. Oh.
All right. By the way, we talked about it. It's not just like we're 4 for 4 with like small trades. It would be complete opposite of that. Right now we had 59.50. That was a monster trade right there. Intel, make them sing, baby. That was probably the best. Well, Google was the best trade because we got to look at trades P&L wise. And then Apple right there. This might be one of the cleanest trades. And it just, we got this 220 break and there it goes straight up to the upside. You know, we've added now 40% more to our net than when we thought we were done trading. So this is why be patient, be there, and guess what else, man? Remember we said we want to get away from that Amazon? We don't want that trade no more. We don't have any offers there. We did not take the fill on AMZN. So, hey, man, hashtag let's go, hashtag Adara at the big desk.
We have both the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ pretty choppy ahead of the FOMC meeting, and that's pretty clearly reflected here in this stock heat map. There's very few sectors here with a clear sense of direction. We do have technology services pretty weak across the board. Keep an eye on CRWD, CrowdStrike in the sector. They're set to have an investor briefing at 1 p.m. today. Another sector with a bit of a sense of direction here is commercial services, pretty strongly to the downside. Consumer services, consumer durables a little bit stronger. Other than that, we have a lot of sectors that look just plain flat. Energy minerals, we've just got that oil print. This one not reacting too strongly. We have utilities, pretty flat. Industrials, transportation here, retail trade. So not a lot of direction here in this market. Bank could be interesting here. Finance sector as we await those rate decisions. AXP a little bit red here, as is JPM. But of course, worth noting here in this technology sector, we do have Apple and Broadcom making moves to the upside. Let's see how everything unfolds as we await this meeting, guys.
Remember, Apple, Broadcom, and ARM usually. ARM went down when they had those concerns. I think everyone understands, like, they're in all the phones. There was a good report about that they were going to be used heavily in the new iPhone 16. So when Apple had the demand concerns, ARM was to the downside. Now it's trending up. A bit of a laggard move. Like, it still hasn't broken that 141.50. I kind of felt like this was, I said I wouldn't fade this stock, especially with Apple going to the upside, but it needs to take this 141.5. Or at least the 141 even. So I got some eyeballs on this. Like, you want to see what can play some catch up if the market's going to go right back into those highs. ARM with an upgrade, with the sympathy for Apple, it's got VWAP or it's just got a clean break of the high of the day here. Maybe the 141 is going to look a little bit level, look a little bit better for ARM. I'm just still in Intel as it's trying to hold on to the bottom of the range. But if this takes out 2130, I think we're going to see VWAP. So essentially just short, lower high, and then previous bottom on Intel. But it's the bottom end of the range here. If we break out 30, that's not a reload for me. That's a wait for VWAP. I feel like ARM is going to be the one. If we're going to find something that we weren't looking at before, it's sympathy to Apple. It's already strong, and the market's going back into the highs. So this is the one I'm going to want if it can take out this top. Just got to let it get there.
Apple right now is $1.40 in the money and still going higher. Google's not doing anything as we promised, but we're still in 10 cents, an amazing 10 cents in the money here on Google. We'll wait to see. Yeah, no, it doesn't matter. We're still good. Google's going to be our #1 P&L, and Sharif just says it sounds like one of his trades, just being 5 or 6 cents in the money. But that's, hey man, that's like a lot of people's trades. There's nothing wrong with that. We've taken some 5 or 6 cent winners as well. Okay, so just real quickly here, I'm hearing something about PayPal. PayPal is added to Amazon Prime potentially.
Yep.
We'll have to wait to see.
It's moving.
Yeah, it's moving. So we'll have to wait to see here. Palantir is really moving upside as well, but here goes PayPal.
Up almost to 73 here. So quickly, PayPal added to Amazon Prime just happened. I want to, oh wow, I just looked at the daily chart. 73 is a bit of resistance. 74 is the bigger resistance on PayPal. Yeah, I want to buy the dip as opposed to taking out the top on this one. Previous highs are like 72.5. I'm going to buy the dip on PayPal, but look at that daily chart. 74 overhead resistance on that daily. I think it can get there, certainly, but I'd rather play the dip buy. 72 is where it broke from, so you're essentially diddling in the middle here.
All right, there's 20 cents on PayPal. We'll just wait to see, man. Now we'll just ride with house money. We'll get out if it breaks 72.50 to the downside. This is like, we're just playing around with this one. If it goes up, it goes up. We'll wait to see. I don't really like playing some of these stories, to be honest with you, especially when it makes this kind of a move up. Obviously, somebody knew about that well before. So we'll get out of half right there, and now we'll play the waiting game on that one. Let's just focus where the money's really been made here, man. Apple just continues to go higher. Like, what is stopping this name? I don't even know if there's a story or what about Apple, but the reason why everyone's here is for this, right? What is for lunch? So we haven't done this in a while, but we're starting to get these menus back right now. So let's have a quick look at what's for lunch today. We haven't, here, this is pretty appropriate for what's for lunch today. We haven't seen this in a minute, I feel like. Grilled AAA beef strip loin. What? With glazed mushrooms and onions. So
AAA.
Everyone getting back there, getting a little steak today. AAA beef strip loin with glazed mushrooms and onions. I don't know if they're watching the show here and they just think that we're spending all this money around. Roasted sweet yams, seasoned vegetables, Greek salad. Wow, and they are running a little bit late. So note to that, but wow, what a lunch today. Seems like more like a dinner, but that is what's for lunch there today. And yeah, it does sound delicious, doesn't it? Yeah. No, I'm not the chef around here. I'm just the trader, and we will wait to see what happens here as we continue to trade.
Just one update on this. I'm reading this again on PayPal. And now it's saying traders circulate rumor the service has been added to Amazon Prime, which is a little different from been added. Circulates rumor is different from has been added to Amazon Prime. It's still, I mean, it's holding the higher low right now. It just dipped into 72.50. I wanted to see it hold that line, but look, I like that half, so I said that's where I wanted to get in. So it's just bouncing off the 72.5. If it loses 72.5, I'll get out of it. But I wanted to make sure everyone got that right because we heard the news in our ear. I went over, read it in print, and it says circulating rumor that service has been added to Amazon Prime, just to make sure we get the wording exactly right there. So PayPal up 1.25. It's trying to dip by into 72.5. That was the top of the initial move, and it just made the bid. So I'm jumping in here in front of 60. I got 68 in front of that 50, so about 20 cents worth of risk. If it gets back to 73, fine. I was talking about this daily chart. I don't know if you guys saw it when it was on my chart, if it was on Sean's in the moment. 74 resistance on the daily here for PYPL. So strong move. I think it's a good partnership for them, obviously, but just a rumor, allegedly.
All right, I mean, we bought the dip there in PayPal as well, so we're already playing with house money. Let's see if it works now. Back up to the upside. We're long at 77s here. We'll see if we can get out of the 90s again and just keep on trucking, man. I am really over the moon with today's trading. Looking around here, it hasn't been a super easy day, but if you've had the right trades, you've had the right trades. And today we've had the right trades. So Intel right back. I know Neil's short this, but still underneath. We'll wait to see what happens. I would love to get a VWAP trade maybe on Intel as the market continues to scream. What made our day just that much better there, obviously, at the end was this Apple trade. We talked about this. We talked about putting on shares, and we did exactly that. And now Apple, with a little piece left, looking to break through 221. So now you know where our stop was on this? 11 cents. So Neil, it is a 10-1 winner right there on the last piece for Apple, which is about right. 10% left, 10-1 winner on, as you guys, I talked about it, decent size of shares there. So we will offer, enter, now breaking back through 221, and we'll wrap a bow on that one. And then there's Google. I mean, honestly, Neil, I don't know what else other than talking to Papa Powell here personally, which I've never done. I mean, yeah, he never picks up. He's kind of a funny guy like that. There's Google again. We talked about reloading that. We talked about lighter shares, so that's what we did. So there it is, and there it is. So that's another banger there for you. So we're going to go now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 5 today, and they're not little small trades. These have been good trades today to start the day. The only thing that we could wind up losing, which is right here, is PayPal. And on that one, we'll basically just lose a cup of coffee, if anything, on a 50 break here for PYPL. But damn, shawty, it's been a good day. And happy birthday to my dog, Belle, who turns 5 today.
Oh, nice.
So
Happy
it's a birthday
Belle.
bonanza in the Katina household right
Wait a
now.
minute. Would that mean did you guys get that for your birthday though?
No. She's 2019. That's just when she's born. So we got her in November.
Okay, well, sometimes you get a puppy. Like
Nah, man, the family don't give me nothing like that.
Okay.
We got the kids that, and then it was actually worked out perfectly.
It's just an interesting coincidence, that's all.
Then COVID happened, so they had basically stuck at home forever with a brand new puppy, and it was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, that's not bad
for
at
them.
all.
So my dog is like the sweetest. If you follow my wife or even me on some socials, you'll see some stuff about our dog. She's crazy, a cockapoo. Definitely one of 3 important females that live in our house. Obviously, shout out to my mom. I don't want to forget about that. Google with a nice move up. Apple with a nice move up. PayPal right there. Flushy. Bye-bye PayPal right there, breaking through 72.50. We get stopped out, man. And on that trade, we took in that stock maybe 5% of what we took on Google. We're just playing the news there. It's an out. Obviously, Neil and I will both lose there on PayPal. But for us, we were lucky enough to take the trade early and get that bump. And that's just what it is. Like, it didn't do much. Good news.
It might even
PayPal.
hold it though. Like
Yeah.
it just wicked out.
I think there's an opportunity there for that trade. So, we'll wait. I'm a shareholder in PayPal. We'll see what's going on right now. Speaking of money, we have Money Talks. Thank you to Fabian for that.
DXY here continuing to consolidate and range around this 100.5 area that we have seen for the last few weeks now. We started consolidating here around 2 Wednesdays ago. We also did have, as well, again, this being a key level of support going back to late December 2023. So let's see how this resolves. Right now, we are still holding the base of this level here at that 100.5. We did get some numbers earlier today, housing starts and building permits higher than expected. But of course, the biggest thing to talk about today with regards to the economy is going to be the FOMC meeting. I know we keep repeating this, but it is pretty key. They're cutting rates for the first time in about 4.5 years. And we actually have quite a few sound bites this morning suggesting that the Fed is and should be cutting here by 25 basis points. Former St. Louis Fed president here, Jim Bullard, saying that they should be cutting here by 25 basis points, that 50 basis points would be excessive. We also have Wells Fargo analysts saying that the talk about 50 basis point cuts is, quote, noise. We know we had some senators as well asking for a 75 basis point cut. So we're going to have to wait and see how this unfolds. But generally looks like 25 basis point is to be expected. But we'll find out in about 3 hours, guys.
Yeah, well,
Right,
not
over
about
here.
3 hours.
Over here immediately. Okay. So Marissa said this to me 10 minutes ago when I wasn't even talking about this. And then all of a sudden, so there it is. A happy birthday. 5 years old right there. There is Belle right there. So again, like absolutely amazing. Little scruffy there. I think you need a haircut for your birthday there, Belle. But there it is. That's what we're talking about.
natural, just keeping it.
Yeah. But you can't even see what's going on there. Come on, man. Let's see those eyes right there. But yeah, he gets a haircut I don't know what it is. Maybe twice a year. I don't know. But right there, that's Belle. I will. I'll tweet that out. So go find me at Trader TV Sean. There it comes to the downside now. PayPal. So movement coming down. We have dumped that stock. Marissa just messaged to me. She's watching now. She said Belle was nervous sitting on that bench being so calm like that. So anyways, all right. So that's that, man. It's 10:53. Thank you so much. We don't have a losing trade, man. I mean, we have that PayPal trade on. That was, a matcha latte. We'll see what winds up happening now in the rest of the day. Today, it's still reversals, or what are you guys up to?
Double tops and bottoms.
Double tops and rounded bottoms for Sharif and Adara today on the Learn to Trade. So join those two maniacs at 11 o'clock I think we all have a little, that's fair, right? Adara says that's fair. Right there. This is not TLC. I mean, what we do here is we teach, but hopefully we provide entertainment, education, and winning trades. And I mean, today, 5 for 5 on the board. Thanks everybody for watching, and just keep on watching, man, because we're not stopping. We're not stopping today. We're not stopping tomorrow. But we're back at about 1:45, Neil and I, 1:50 or so before the Fed hits today. We'll be back. So join us then. And I hope everyone behind us enjoys their steak lunch today with mushrooms as well. Mushrooms is one of my daughter's favorite vegetables. So there we go. We did also have, just to talk more and more, because, that's unfortunately what we have to do around here. Yesterday, I get home and we talked all about this. I don't know if anybody saw it. Someone said Sean's a family man. I appreciate that 100%. This is my gift from my daughter yesterday to me. One shawarma party from the place I like. Love, Gia.
Boom.
I mean,
Oh my God.
I mean, taped on, and it was taped on to the wall with the other side, and it said, please flip over. So I flipped it over, one shawarma from the place that she likes. So we had that party, and she can have a damn shawarma party whenever she wants. Just take my credit card.
It's never bad. Look, it's never a dull moment around here, but it's certainly never bad when you can celebrate. We had a lot of fun with the birthday, but
yeah.
My question to you is, what did you get on the shawarma? Because
I just got a gyro, so
Okay.
lamb and stuff, and lamb and beef, but she loves the chicken shawarma.
I'm a lamb. Lamb to me is like the way to go. But
yeah, and Marissa got the falafel, but Gia doesn't. So she doesn't like pickles, so she didn't get the pickles in there. I think she got the turnips, but she lettuce, tomato for sure. The problem is, and I owe her another one. It was the guy made a little too spicy. So, she thought it was a little too spicy. She still ate it. So, I don't know if it's a ploy to get another shawarma party or not, but I'm going to get her another shawarma party. So,
no such thing as too spicy in my.
Yeah. I mean, for a 10-year-old, I don't know. But
yeah, no, obviously,
yeah. She likes spicy.
And the funny thing is, when you know you're making it for a kid, ease up a little bit on the spice. But trying to keep it spicy, the market is still an inside bit of a day. This is why you've got to be, either you're dip buying into key levels, or you're like breaking out like Apple, which is one of the few things that's doing it. And this is pretty much expected on a Fed day.
Exactly.
I mean, all you've got is a couple of tests underneath the overnight bottoms, a couple of tests above the overnight tops, and everything else an inside day. So wait for your key price levels. Google did come right back in. Last thing I guess we'll talk about here, and I want to get to PayPal in a second, because I feel like it was a good thing we knew it was a rumor, or heard there was a rumor. But if we get back to VWAP and break it out, 160 again. So you're holding on to previous close. So there's your previous close. It's dipping right into it. I want to see that 160 again. But PayPal, I think it was worth it because it had room to 74, but you're dropping right back into VWAP. I should have not reloaded in front of 72.5 and could have stayed green instead of being flat on the stock. So if it breaks VWAP, I'd like to think that if it goes all the way back into where it started, that would still be solid because it was holding this range anyways, and PayPal's been in an upward trend. So I think in a general sense, you'd be bullish on the stock, but if it comes all the way back to where it closed yesterday, just being flat could be a nice little bounce spot. Because even if it's just a rumor, it's still a possibility. So I don't think this would be a bad play if it comes all the way back in to the bottom. But I'm just going to wait for it to get there. You got to be patient with it. It would be a great story for PayPal if it was able to hold up. And Duke684 says, look at OMEX from yesterday. I said I'm not touching this with a 10-foot pole until it stops halting every 2 minutes, which it did. So when it was in the pennies yesterday, it was essentially unable to go 2 seconds without halting because all it had to do was move 5 pennies. and that would be 10% because it was a 50-cent stock. Now it's starting to look a little bit better. I think the play is somewhat obvious. The first halt was at 105 or 104. I think that's the over-under. The $1 level on OMEX is where I'd want to be playing it off of. So forget about VWAP. I could care less about that. I think if it dips underneath VWAP, you want to look for any hold of the $1 level. 100 million in volume is pretty darn good. That's going to do a few 100 million shares today. And you shouldn't necessarily have to worry about the Fed with this stock if you're trading it. So good shout out that OMEX. And Davion Wade saying, look at the super chat. Apologies, Davion. I didn't see. Sorry about that. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate you and Fugazi Bear as well. Thank you for the rumor report. You got puts on PayPal. Congratulations. Great look there. It's important to get the wording right. MaxN is popping at Sean. So I haven't looked at MaxN today. We thank you guys for the super chat. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. I don't know if we have enough time to go over MaxN, but we'll try to do it for you. No, I'll go right to it. We have a couple of minutes. I know Sharif
ever go over.
I know Sharif is gonna not cover this because he doesn't trade stocks at under 50 cents. No, you say it all the time. It's a 9-cent stock. Anything is tradable here at Real Trading. You can trade ETFs, you can trade equities, you can trade Forex around here, you can trade crypto, you can trade penny stocks as well. Just understand you don't get paid a rebate under $1 on the NASDAQ. So you got to make gross on penny stocks. You can't just sit there and take fills and try to catch a rebate. So it's moving, but it's not going to be grooving until it takes out 10 cents. So it's got a nice little trend up. I think when you're looking for the bigger moves on penny stocks, I don't know why this is not filling in a little bit more. Sorry about my 15-minute chart's getting a little queasy, so I'm going to go to the daily chart. And now you can see a little bit better. Above 10 cents is where you have a bigger move, 12 and then 15. So it's trying to do a rounded bottom in here. There's your rounded bottom, and then the first level breakout would be above 10. I think it looks good 10 to 12, and then 12 to 15 looks pretty key on MaxN for me. But the thing I don't love about it, it's done 13 million shares as a 9-cent stock. OXEM is a $1 stock that's done 100 million shares. OMEX, or I think I had it right the first time. That looks a heck of a lot better to me. It's doing way more notional volume, which gives you more opportunity for the trade. There's nothing wrong with MaxN, but you want a penny stock like that to be doing hundreds of millions of shares, not necessarily 13 for the day trade.
Yeah, we so just to end a trade right there, it is a chicken dinner winner, although we talked about what's for lunch. It's beef here today. There goes Apple. We just got out. It broke 221. I feel like someone was chasing this thing down, and it is going to go back up, but that's neither here nor there. We got out of our last 10%. We had a little bit more than 10%. We had about 15% left. We get out when it breaks 221. I feel like that's going to be a mistake, but with this happening right now for the day, we're out, and the only trade left is Google. And we've already cleaned up on this. We still have a third left. We'll wait to see higher. We do talk about 159 breaking on Google. That'll be my last look for a trade. 159.15. If it breaks lower, we're gone through 159. Great trading today. Thank you, Neil. Thank you, Adara, for all the reports today. Thank you, Fabian, Andre, Ramin over there. This handsome gentleman that's not here right now, Brendan. Thank you to him.
And
thank you to Sharif. Thank you for.
And shout out to Bell. Happy birthday, Bell.
Happy birthday, Bell. Thanks, Neil, again for that one. Thanks, Neil, for all those birthday wishes yesterday. That was a special day. Thank you to BPI. Thank you to everybody, Brankos, Wayne, for the campus program. Thank you to Real Trading, Trade the Pool, Benzinga Pro, every single Real Trading campus. As we go, right we can keep on going, Moo, etc. And thank you to Bears vs. Bulls. But most important right now is, first of all, Google is now 40 cents in the money and still going up. But you're tired of my voice. Let's go get tired of two more. It's Sharif and Adara on the Midday Lessons. Ciao.